going for the hack and slash. It's a real horror show. 2, 3, he's doing the work.
And right now, Boston, it feels like they are very much in control of the situation.
Oh, that was so close.
Prophet, his tire, it's low, but it's still deadly. Whoa, nice pick from Dream, though.
We all know who the real hero was. In this case, it was Prophet. It's going to be a nice defense from the Boston Uprising.
Overtime, wow, it keeps getting so close.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Blizzard Arena. It's Friday night, and we got some great Overwatch for you today. I'm your host, Golden Boy. Joining me is Brent Sideshow and the wonderful Zoe, as always. And you know, I mean, it was in the rotation. I did request for Crumbs and Reinforce. Unfortunately, they told me that was not the case. It had to be you two.
That's unfortunate, isn't it?
His second choice was me and Reinforce or me and Crumbs.
Yeah.
It just
Anyone really but Brent. I think that was
Honestly, I got no comeback for that.
You didn't know it was coming, and I hit it right out of the park, and some Joel. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the standings for the overall standings, I would say, of the league. And Seoul Dynasty currently sitting at the top here, pretty with 13-3, but we haven't seen the NYXL and the London Spitfire take the stage quite yet, so things can shift here quite a bit. And then you also have the stage 2 standings now, where Seoul Dynasty are dominant on top 6-0. They've been looking pretty solid so far, bro.
Looking hot right now, aren't they? Look at them sitting up top, 14 man differential right now. Man is definitely hot. That's
this is what we wanted to see in stage 1, really. That's what everyone expected from stage 1, and it didn't happen. So I'm glad to see the Seoul Dynasty on top this time around.
Exactly, but speaking of stage 1, we're getting a little salty run back, if you will, for my good buddy, WWE superstar Xavier Woods' favorite team, London Spitfire, going to be going up against Boston Uprising. Then we're going to have the NYXL against the Philly Fusion. That's going to be a nice East Coast throwdown right there. And then the Florida Mayhem versus the Houston Outlaws will be our final match of the day. But first, let's go ahead and welcome to the stage the London Spitfire. Coming into this one with a victory over the Fusion in Week 2, 4-0. This team is feeling very confident, 3-1 in the stage right now. So.
That's true, and they did announce some reinforcements are on the way as well. They were 1 tank down after they let go Fisher, who then joined the Gladiators, but they've been announcing that they picked up, and now I'm not sure how to actually say his name. Am I supposed to call out the number? Is it Tizzy or T1Z?
No, man, don't do your elite speak.
Okay, it's just Tizzy.
You don't know your elite speak, man? Come on, dude.
I'm sorry, that's how I grew up. But yeah, he's a main tank. He's known for being very aggressive, and yeah, might look like a good replacement for Fisher, actually.
For sure. It feels like London, they're just trying to get a monopoly on all the best tanks in the league, and they've just like snapped up Tizzy. He's come from Team Runaway, and he is honestly one of the best tanks currently playing. Wasn't you know, sort of trucked in that Korean ecosystem, but now he's back in this London roster. It means they're 1 step closer to running these 12-man scrims. But he's, you know, once again, how do you fill the boots of a player like Gesture when he is so good?
Yes, and I think he'll be a bit of a work in progress as we go along, and obviously not fielded today. But this lineup that the London Spitfires are running today shows me that they really respect Boston Uprising. Last time in stage 1, they dealt them a nasty upset that started out Boston on an upward swing, and London are fielding just a star-studded lineup here to try and take them down.
And you know what? They definitely have to fear this squad, and let's go ahead and bring them out to the stage. Let's give a warm welcome to the Boston Uprising. Coming off of a victory against the Dragons yesterday at 4-0, looking dominant there. Didn't, you know, decided to test the waters, you know, play some different roles going into that game, some different players into that game. This time around, they know that this is game time.
Yes, for the last 2 matches, they have been running Kalios over Gamsu, which we thought, look, from an outsider's perspective, must have been something to do with the play style. They had lost their first 2 games in stage 2 and then made a shift up on the main tank position. So it was pretty interesting what they were running, and they're still going with Kalios, but perhaps it wasn't a strategic move.
It actually wasn't, although I do like to just think it could be one. No, it actually wasn't. Coach Haka has been clearing up some rumors and misunderstandings the other day, as he said that Gamsu actually has just been ill, so it's not quite as in-depth and dramatic and strategic as we thought it could be. So that's why we saw Kalios instead, who's been doing great. Now, Gamsu is actually in Korea right now, because that's where you go when you get ill. You just you
wanna go
heal
home.
better at home.
Hey,
That's
nothing's
a fact.
better than Mama Soup. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
So he's back at home enjoying Mama Soup, and meanwhile we're going to enjoy Kalios. And he also further said that Boston Uprising has never been close to selling or trading Gamzu and Striker and Neko, as that's been some rumors going around. So Huck made sure to clear that up for the internet. Thanks, Huck.
No, thank you so much. Sorry for getting the skinny on that one. Bren, your thoughts on this team going into this match?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a team that's struggled to find their footing, I feel like, in Stage 2. Stage 1, they had a good performance throughout pretty much surprising everyone, because I remember before the Overwatch League even started, everyone was considering Boston Uprising as, you know, question marks raised as to why they picked up this selection of players. But they turned up, they showed that they were more than capable, but they've had a bit of a drop-off in Stage 2. I want to see the Boston Uprising get back on the horse. I want to see them start to take some names, start to take some games back as well, you know, get a couple of maps under their belt and see where they go from there.
Yeah, but then, you know, on the flip side of that one, I do want to talk about London Spitfire. They have made some changes in the back end as well, Zoe.
That's true. During the walkout, I talked about their new player that we'll be picking up, and we will be seeing him hopefully soon. However, they made another change, which is incredible big, in my opinion, and that's the parting ways with Bishop. He's been one of the big names in that team. He was an integral part of actually piecing this team together. He was the one who looked for those two different rosters and meshed them into one, and he has been a big part of all the strategic decisions which have been made for that team. So I'm very interested to see what approach the team is now taking, and more so who's actually going to step up and fill Bishop's shoes here.
Yes, and when you look at the London Spitfire, it has incredible talent on paper, and so one of the things that we've always been talking about with regards to London has been the coaching decisions. Who do you run in certain games? How do you maximize your wins by prioritizing certain games over others, making sure that they have practice time? We've seen even recently when they don't have 12 players, they've still been trying to split their roster into two so they get great games or great practice for both matches coming up in the week. And so this is something that we perhaps thought would be the head coach's role with Bishop. So maybe we'll see a different route going forwards with the changes that they made, or maybe it was just an overall team decision. So something to keep your eye on as well, the impact of the coaching decisions moving forward.
Yeah, but now putting a lens onto the match at hand here, Boston, London, the big matchup to look out for is going to be Striker and Prophet.
Right, yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
The two Tracers that's the way the meta is sort of developing these days as well. It's like it is a battle between the Tracers, the 1v1s, whether you can take it. And I mean, a mechanically skilled Tracer player is almost night and day. If you've got somebody who can really perform at the highest level, you're going to have a much easier time taking a lot of these wins because of the ridiculous amount of plays that you can make. I mean, you're seeing these highlight clips here. You can basically turn the fight around with just a single pulse bomb onto the right target. It's really imperative that you have someone who's more than capable in that role. And both of these teams have very capable Tracer players.
Yes, I would say that these are two of the best Tracers that we're currently looking at. The amount of damage and work that both of them are able to put out is ridiculous. Now, when you look at their actual styles as well, though, Prophet is more of the, I'm just going to go around and try and kill everybody I possibly can Tracer. He's looking to carry and follow up on all the damage. Striker tends to focus more on the tanks, as we've got later on throughout the Overwatch League. Originally, he was going for those deep dives along with Gamsu and Note. Now, it's more that he's focusing on the tanks. That's inflating his damage slightly, so that's accounting for some of the difference in the numbers that you're seeing there. But overall, two of the best Tracers that we have in the league.
Yeah, keep in mind, yesterday they were going against, as you know, it's been dubbed numerous times, the wall of meat. When they were shooting all the tanks.
Numerous times.
Numerous times it was said. It's a great phrase, and I hope it doesn't wear out. But yeah, I mean, you know, you saw a lot of prioritization onto the tanks, and that just boosts those numbers up. But we're also seeing a few more teams actually incorporate tanks into their style, like maybe a triple tank approach like the Shanghai Dragons have been doing. Yeah. Do you think we're going to see anything crazy in this game?
I don't think...
No, I don't think so. I'm going to take this one, Josh. Sorry, mate. Get under the desk. But no,
my God.
I'm going to take this one away. I personally don't think we are going to see them. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but
he doesn't carry the way.
Both these teams, with the exception of like when they go onto sort of these tank-based maps, it's going to be rare to see these tank-based compositions because dive is so much more effective in terms of the if your team is working well, you're going to get so much more done running dive than you will with a tank composition.
Yeah.
It sort of prioritizes exploiting weaknesses of your enemies as opposed to actually playing well.
Yeah.
And I
Here's
mean,
the
both
Oh,
teams
yeah.
feel comfortable in that dive role.
We're not gonna let
We
Josh
saw that
speak
already.
today, are we?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Josh, under the
No, but
under the desk.
it's something we've been praising Boston for throughout the whole of stage 1. They feel comfortable on this dive kind of composition, and that's why I don't expect them to really change this up today, because they obviously want to play to their strength.
And
Josh,
London.
I'm going to let you finish. I'm going to let you finish, Josh. We actually have to go to the game. I really want to get your point across. There's not enough time in the day. I was just told by production we had to throw it. He's basically our Matt Damon now. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and send it over to Boston Uprising and London Spitfire with our commentators, Semler and Hex.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Golden Gramps. And you see, I decided, Hex, that enough was enough.
I'm tall.
You're tall.
I'm so tall.
I felt like you needed to, you needed to take the reins of the show. And so, Hex, take it away, bro. I'm gonna hit you with the hard-hitting analysis.
I'm used to looking up. I look up to you in so many different ways.
There we go. It's like magic. It's like magic.
This should be an interesting matchup for all the reasons that the desk explained to us. Most interesting to me was that this Boston team did beat London earlier in the season, January 25th, I believe, so it might as well be 2 years ago in Overwatch time, but they were able to do it very well on control maps. They brought it to 5, they were able to beat them on control in 3, and then they brought it, of course, to the tiebreaker in 5. So London probably looking for revenge, and just based on the roster they're fielding, they're not taking this lightly at all.
No, they're not looking to repeat errors. I mean, we've seen Seoul kind of stumbling in terms of maybe slacking off a little bit, underestimating their opponents. That's costing them maps. When you're getting to playoff stage at the end of it, every map matters. You can't afford to take an opponent lightly here, even Shanghai. And so here you have London. They're just going to go ahead and just hit him like a wrecking ball right off the bat.
Yeah, they're going to try to start strong here. Hanamura is kind of interesting as well because Boston has yet to win on Hanamura. However, they're very good at other assault maps. It's just a matter of translating that kind of style into Hanamura. And it can be a little bit difficult when you get into the dojo because it is so wide open. It plays a little differently than the other assault maps, which are somewhat more claustrophobic as you get into those final points.
Yeah, what a beautiful screen that is. I love Hanamura just because we get to have it wrap around here on these giant monitors. You really get to see the feel. You feel like you're in the map, Hex. You feel like you're in the map. But we are in a simulation after all, so it's fine.
Hey, we're like under the stage in a closet.
Yeah, we don't get to see any of this, actually. But
I do like what the desk was talking about between Striker and Prophet. Prophet is established as a top 3 tracer in this league. I don't think you'd have any arguments against that. Striker, yesterday we mentioned he's getting up there. You can start considering him top 5 and better. I just wonder if a lot of that performance you saw from Striker yesterday was based on his opponents and their composition. He was getting pulse bomb once every 42 seconds because he was simply farming tanks. Now the good thing is he was sticking those pulse bombs. He was making every one of them count. But now the test is on as he has to face a top tier tracer without a doubt in London Spitfire, and those tanks are not going to be as easy of a targets on London. London's greatest strength to me is their tank line. I mean, you talk all you want about the DPS, but Gesture is by far, in my opinion, the best tank in the league. Maybe not by far, but I think undoubtedly the best tank in the league.
well, hell, they've got such a wealth of talent in terms of tanks. They can go ahead and give one away to another team.
Yeah.
Just fine. And that guy wasn't a slack here either.
The second best tank in the league.
Yeah, like actually, you go ahead and have him. It's all right. You guys need a chance after all. I mean, London are definitely not a team to be taken lightly, and they are definitely, well, they can go the marathon run and they can go the sprint, and we'll see which one they want to go for here because London Spitfire already just kind of poking around here at the front door.
It's a really interesting composition on the offense as they're running a McCree. That McCree is supposed to be able to deal with Striker and also to Dreamcast, where McCree can be very good against those dive DPS heroes, shutting down their mobility with Flashbang. Unable to do that, and this aggression from Boston is a welcome breath of fresh air. To see them play aggressive on the defense, I think this is when they're at their best.
Dude, that's where Striker's definitely looking to make a bit of a statement here. Hunting him that deep, Prophet, you're not getting away.
London makes changes immediately. They will get off the McCree. They're onto a Genji Tracer now. They have a Lucio as well, so their initiation ability is going to be faster. However, they will not have the resurrection mechanic that Boston is running with their Mercy.
Yeah, Kelix isn't too far off of the Valk either, so they have to make this attack work. I love the Discord Orb immediately there onto Birdring, rather. Got to change it up. Prophet no longer playing the Tracer here for London Spitfire. Take note.
Well, Striker's first pulse bomb does not end up getting kills though, but he does end up hitting it at the very least. Nice healing up for London there. London might want to try to go in here and just see if they can get some ults used out of them to really even up the economy, considering the mass switches they had to make early.
Exactly right, because Kelix is sitting patiently on the Valkyrie. Neko has now got his trance as well. Doshin looking for the volley there. Dreamcasper just narrowly dodging it, but yeah, they really are pulling ahead in terms of ults now. And there it is, the snipe coming through from Doshin. Striker is gone, but Dream Casper hacks them all. Up in the hallways, exactly where he wants you. That sword does AoE damage. Everything in front of him is getting cleaved to death.
That fight was on a razor's edge because Midoshin, because of that early kill, got himself to Transcend, which should be able to shut down a Blade. Did not end up happening there. However, they did get both support ultimates out of Boston. Nako and Kelix now trying to work their way back up to those support ultimates, and that means it's time to feast or profit in Bird Ring. They have their DPS ultimates available.
They do. The Dragon Blade definitely going to be very scary in the hands of Prophet. So Birdring looking for his angle. He's going to be following in with his tanks, and Prophet not wasting any time at all. Goes straight into the back line. Both of the supports are dead with the help of Gesture as well. Stream Casper wants to have a say, but it's going to be a little bit too late. They have a long run ahead of them here, Boston Uprising, to get back into this fight. And so London Spitfire, they're not even getting on the point. They're just killing everything before they even bother.
Just taking their time, making sure that there's not going to be any shenanigans in the back there. You don't want the Primal Rage Winston to be coming on here and stalling it out, letting everyone get back on the point. Just finish your plate first and then take your victory lap on the point. They will do just that. And now this is an opportunity for them to just run over this point. They're going to make changes again, so I don't know how many ultimates they want to commit to this, but you could just go right down Broad Street, pop a sound barrier, and make them come play you on the point.
Yeah, we have Prophet back on the Tracer here, and then Birdring back on McCree for London Spitfire.
I think he's going to touch and just try to pressure.
Try to draw
Get them off the high ground, yeah.
I mean, he's got Gesture that'll help him out as well with Primal. Things could get fun, especially if they're caught in a corner like that. Nowhere to go. Sound barrier has been used. Note dropping dangerously low, though. Note on the edge of getting D-Mac. Has to go for the self-destruct here. He knew he was going to get taken out of it. Not quite going to find the kill, however, unfortunately for him. Fury is still here. He's got his self-destruct, so we'll see when he decides to use it. Kelix eventually gets hunted down. That's the Valk out of the fight. And a good opportunity here for London Spitfire to start making some progress on this point.
Transcend on the point, and Birdring is now over to that McCree again. He's able to take down the D.Va. If they lost Gesture so early in that fight, he should be able to get back in the mix here. Now it's Desperation, popping ults, and not ideal, and Prophet sticks Nako.
Now can Kelix, where is Kelix going to try and get that ult into him? Because he can try and go for the bold resurrect if he wants to. He's just trying to go for the heals for now, at least. Maybe can be able to get his teammate back into it, but no, not going to take the time. Just focusing on the heals, trying to keep the tanks alive, but they're not hanging in here. Kalios gets caught by Prophet. And well, you can look from on high, Kelix, but Birdring can definitely hit the headshots.
He's making him play away. He's not actually getting any healing done because he has to hide out. And this is why you run a McCree. He can close out fights for you. And that burst damage does so much work against the Mercy. And Birdring lighting it up on the Cowboy.
And there it is. Very quick take on the second point for the London Spitfire. Everybody on fire here for this roster. Round one is over. A quick 2-0. And plenty of time in the bank as well.
I really like that early scout from Prophet going below as well. I call it opening the door on assault maps when you just put your Tracer on the point, because someone's got to come back to at least deal with you or check you. Now, a response to that from some teams is send one person onto it, at least check them on the point. Some teams will just ignore it, go for take a 6v5 up top if they see that's where the rest of the team is. But London did this really interesting thing where they also sent the Winston down there once they realized the door was open. So now you've got a dual threat on the point. One person can't go back there. It looked like they were all kind of going back the stairs that opens up the front stairs up top. That's where the other four came in. So a really cool strategy to throw something at Boston that maybe they're not prepared for.
They weren't. We saw that from Seoul yesterday. I like that you're bringing it up, because I feel like London Spitfire, we saw a little bit of that on the A point here when they were taking it. Instead of getting onto the point, what you're doing, you're killing everything in sight, and then you go ahead and take the point, whether you're defending it or attacking it. If you win that fight hands down, the point's going to be yours anyway. And so we've really seen Seoul kind of come into that sort of strategy as well as London.
It sometimes has the bonus effect too of if you wait on those kills long enough that people start coming back in, and you're like, fine, I'll take this ult charge. If you want to try to take a 3v6 on the point when we're set up, good. And also that would work out well for London, considering they had to make changes earlier. They were struggling to get that economy back going. Then they made changes again on the second point, and Birdring definitely flexed so well onto that McCree there. And it works so well against Boston because Boston still has the proclivity to run a Mercy where a lot of teams would not. And even in Valkyrie mode, you're doing burst damage. It's not getting healed up right away up to 100%, so he's able to do that and then deny the Mercy in the air.
Yeah, exactly. The beauty of McCree, you hit those headshots, you do tremendous damage. And so it takes a little bit of time for Mercy to regen. All right, let's get into the thick of things here. 2 seconds left. Boston Uprising on the offense. Now London Spitfire on the defense. Birdring on the Soldier. Going to be playing back there with Nux and Doshin. Working together as that trio.
offensive Sombra on first point of Hanamura. An interesting gambit here. We'll see how it works for them. This is why they want to take this left side room. These are where all the good packs are on the left side of this map, and now London's going to have to adjust to this play.
Oh, if you could just get that hack on the D.Va, that would be big. That would be exactly what NAKO would hope for.
Next patch.
Next patch, yeah, it's going to be even quicker, and D.Vas are definitely going to be pretty sad about that. He is making progress towards that EMP, up to 50% already in this next fight, but London Spitfire have made a very quick rotation. They've halted all progress here for Boston Uprising. NAKO gets overwhelmed in the corner, and London Spitfire with those big beefy tanks doing the AoE damage. Tesla cannon, you know, it's just...
That was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
You can't just let them sit there and farm up that pack, but they did farm it pretty well to the point where they have an EMP for this next fight. But that's really the only thing they got going there, was a lot of healing. They were all sitting kind of passively just to play around that. And now it's a matter of what targets he can get with this as well to get the EMP off. Already a preemptive nano, smart play.
Yeah, right off the bat, so you already have to deal with a gesture that's already doing the AoE damage, boosted up 50% more, and well, you've got Birdring still on high, closing the door on Boston Uprising.
It's such a big play. It's so smart to know that, yeah, they definitely have it. We did a lot of damage. They ate a lot of packs. They definitely have EMP. So when you see them at least show their head around the door, just get that nano off. Make sure that the Winston gets the nano boost there, going forward, able to do so much damage, and they banked ults here, Seth.
Yeah, they have banked ults, and while they're continuing to just keep spread out here, London Spitfire not really allowing Boston Uprising to dive in and eviscerate one big chunk of it. Now they're moving together. Prophet, he's got the positioning, and there we go. It's almost as if NAKO just offered himself up. Couldn't be in a worse position there, NAKO. But Striker will get the trade onto Prophet, so a lot of DPS lost here for London Spitfire.
It's one of the best targets to hit because NAKO just switched to that Zenyatta, and he's only sitting at 93%. That allows Badosha to use his Transcend when maybe it wasn't the most impactful ultimate there, but they should be on even footing now, knowing that the opposing Zenyatta spending time in spawn.
Well, they're making progress. One tick now for the Boston Uprising. Sound Barrier committed as well. They're not messing around. And it does look like they should be able to swing this their way with Striker finding the kill on us. The backline is dead for the London Spitfire, and sure enough, Boston Uprising will win this fight on the first point, although...
Maybe.
Dude, this is getting a bit hairy. Dreamcasper still has the blade, though.
Chester did so much there, so much tack damage there at the end. It's allowing his team to get back in, and even though Boston has kept throwing bodies at this, they're not quite able to take the first point. Casper's gonna go back to spawn with Blade, and this is so London. It's very much like Soul as well.
You're right.
You can't call fights early.
You're right.
I've learned it the hard way.
We learned this lesson the other day, Hex. Gotta stop doing it when it's London on the defense. They're always just gonna come back in and keep fighting.
I mean, it wasn't clean from Boston either. It was very back and forth and scrappy, and there is an attacker's advantage to a small degree, but it's not too bad of a walk for the defense to get back here, even though now they are on the point. He's gonna have to use the blade, though.
Yeah, and Dreamcasper's got the perfect targets right into the thick of things, along with his tanks. Now you go ahead and clean up the rest. Point itself, Fury is gone. Gesture not long for this world either. He's got a Discord on him, and he is dead.
Still decent, though, for London to be able to contest that because they did make Boston burn out some ultimates, most notably that blade that you saw on your screen and also Transcendence from NAKO. So now they're not going to have that combination. They've taken control of the economy again. So even fights they lose, they're winning another aspect of the game as they try to close this one out.
Oh, Striker, he's got the golden opportunity. Goes for it. There's the stick. Notion is gone again. But Striker, his teammates in the meantime, all getting deaded, getting killed.
Now they are deflected back out. Striker's able to keep his life going, gets a big pack, but they have to regroup and look at this next attack. They don't have a ton going for him. Dreamcasper is going to take the moment to switch onto the Soldier 76 instead. A strategy that a lot of teams like is going up the stairs, get your Soldier 76 on the high ground alone, and then once you have some pressure on the point, no one can really go up there and pressure him.
All eyes on Doshin. Volley straight in, but the shield goes up in time to negate that damage. He's got that trance locked and loaded, ready for it. Birdring isn't too far from the blade either, so that could be an opportunity. Fury with the self-destruct just deciding to clear them out. And a little bit of a skirmish, but Boston Uprising deciding that now's not the time to commit.
Jester's going to find himself some nice targets over here, but that's a lot of healing for Soldier 76, and then Note will come in over there. Jester taken out of this fight. He should respawn in time to get back over here, though. There is an ultimate used, and Nano is out on the fields.
Wow, Note getting just collapsed on Birdring with 2 big kills. Dreamcasper's out of it. And the Nano Blade, just so much damage. Even if you are a tank, you're going to get beaten up so quick.
They sensed that Boston was going to go for it with Gesture out of the mix, so they did preemptively use that nano to try to shut it down before it started. Now they're going to get back to full strength. However, Casper has got his tactical visor going. I think a lot of this is going to depend on Striker, because where the supports are allowed to position on Hanamura's second point. Yes, they're a little up top, but it's going to be staircases, back left corner, back right corner. Hard to get to them both, and they're going to be peeling for each other a lot.
Now moving together as a group here, Boston Uprising. Once again, looking to take advantage of this high ground, hoping to be able to set Dream Casper up there with attack visor so he can really rein in the death and destruction. And Strikers now find his perfect angle. Immediately gonna get canceled out, doesn't get it. And so Dream Casper with the attack visor will find the kill on Prophet. 2 swift kills here for Boston Uprising, but we are still looking at a London Spitfire defense because Gesture has got the primal. He can leap all over the place.
They're prioritizing trying to get to Dream Casper, but he just backs up, gives some ground, and now it's just Fury in Pilot Diva mode trying to at least harass him. It is not a terrible move. He will get finished, but at least a lot of his focus was going the other direction. Now desperation time to get on the point. Gesture falls.
Birdring not going to be able to last much longer either. He had the blade as well. They're doing a good job of sticking together here. And Boston Uprising taking full advantage of the sound barrier. Everybody with the bonus HP. Just withstanding this push. Now we're into full stagger mode. London Spitfire just going to trickle out of the spawn one at a time. Unless Fury and Gesture can get in here. But Gesture, even with that whole hog, well, not even the whole hog, but the road hog, it's not going to be enough HP for him to last.
It's going to have to be the best blade ever. It was not. Only got one there. Boston will end up completing Hanamura, but about 2 minutes less time in their bank. I really do like that Soldier 76 play, and not just the standard 76 up top and attack visor, right?
Sure.
We've seen that a million times. I love when Soldier 76 is dropped down, sensing blood. You get a tick, you get a second tick, and it's just more consistent damage when you're on the point. You're closer, you're gonna hit burst headshots a little better, it makes helixes a lot better.
Bionic field.
Yeah, and you can help out your
healing
exactly.
teammates.
Yeah, it helps out in every aspect of it, and you still have the sight lines to cover the doors. It's why that long range hit scan is so good on Hanamura. There's only 2 exits, and you can see them both from on high down there, and or on the point. So it's a really nice move to give up the temporary safety of being away on the high ground. Obviously, no one's going to touch you up there, but you're better down below. So we made that transition quickly, and that's why Boston's able to capture last.
They're doing a good job. Once they have that advantage there, Boston Uprising. First point, we saw it. Second point as well. That tipping point, once it's reached, they don't really make the mistakes that allow for London to get back in. Apart from that one.
We'll see what they want to do here on the London defense. Now they'll be defending yet again. I don't think we're going to see a Sombra play from Boston. London seemed like they reacted to that very well, had it snipped out. And the problem is when you're playing the Sombra on offensive first here, that one side is really the only side you want to be in. And it's a pack that's either wide open right near a cliff, not the best place to stand and just hang out, or it's a pack that's in the room, and London punished it twice. So we will see a more standard support setup here. Going full-on dive composition is Boston.
Yeah, trying to stick to their strengths, it looks like. It has worked for them in the past. Definitely one of the better dive teams in this league, hands down. Note kind of dancing around, using his D-Matrix quite a bit. He is going to decide to just go charging in. A little bit of a boost there, just knocking him back, creating some space. And now they're kind of stuck in this room. They need to find a way out of it. London Spitfire are rotating around, making it difficult because Birdring's on the other side, just raining in bullets.
They're going to get the positioning they want. Oh, just a last-second Helix hits the wall behind Nako. Splash damage will take down the Zenyatta. They might have to keep going. This is the time you have to make the choice. Do we fight a 5v6 or do we reset? They only have time for one more reset after this. Now it's time. Now should be taking a jump.
Yeah, just get out. Yep, nope, just resets all the way into the abyss. And while it is going to be a steady defense set up here for London Spitfire, Prophet very close to his Pulse Bomb, Nuss, and Doshin, both support ults, are going to be in play for this next push as well for London Spitfire.
It's going to be close. Boston should be able to get there with a couple of them, but it's not going to be their support ultimates, so they're definitely at a huge disadvantage. Support ultimates can swing fights. I would not be surprised to see Nuss just toss this Nano onto either Gesture or Birdring, or even Fury early on in the fight to make sure it comes off immediately when he gets it. He pops
it. Doesn't waste any time at all. Goes straight onto Gesture. Gesture's going to be in there doing that AoE cleave, and then he just goes primal and starts beating up on people as well. Complete and utter destruction here on the point. London Spitfire with the impenetrable defense. It's looking like they're going to get the shutout here in the second round. Boston Uprising not able to get anything going for them on point A.
Got a single tick. He likes the victory transcendence towards the end there. You don't often see a Primal Rage pop when you have Nano, but in that specific situation, especially when they're attacking a point with a cliff over the edge, it's really nice to try to knock them off.
All right, let's go ahead and hear what Boston had to say on point B.
I drop B, I drop B.
Tracer. Tracer one.
Beating
point.
Right there.
Behind spawn.
Tracer one.
Tracer point.
Tracer one.
Nice and punishing.
Diva.
Diva low. Zaman. Dead. Diva point.
Go.
Go.
I'm on Genji.
Tracer one.
Tracer cut.
Nice.
Nice.
Order.
Yeah, that's Overwatch comms in a nutshell for you. It reminds me a little bit of like low-grade action movies where every third line is go, move, people.
Yeah, there you go. Because if you say it more times, right, it gets more important.
It increases the speed. It's like those old like Olympic games where you had to mash A and B to run.
See, if that was, different, I mean, it's different styles for different games. You know, Overwatch very chaotic on that point, and so you really want to get hurt. But if I was playing other team games, I'd probably shouting at everybody to shut up and to clean up comms because this is ridiculous. But hey, you know, heat of the moment, you're just going all out.
It is about those clean comms, and you want to make sure that the target is called, so just keep saying the name until they're dead. That's how you know they die. Someone stops saying.
Somebody stop saying.
Yeah,
exactly. All right, let's get into the thick of things here, guys, because we've got 3 minutes here on the clock for London Spitfire to pick up 1 tick on the first point of Hanamura for a strong start in this series.
They're going to run triple tank for it as well. Triple tank to the Roadhog end. Of course, that means Badoshin is going to go over to the Moira. That AoE healing from her is just ridiculous output. Also able to stay very safe. So they're just looking for a single hook. A single hook could win this. There's the hook. They get the DMAC.
DMAC immediately profit from his perspective. You can just see how much damage he does as well. You've got shields, not for long. Hey, there's a striker hook. Perfect play. Profit, that's a high-value target to pick off. Nako gets caught as well. And while you're going to have Kalios trying to do the best that he can to stall things out, but it's just not meant to be. It's not going to happen. Dream Casper, desperate blade, but he gets no kills out of it, and it will be London Spitfire picking up the first map here on Hanamura. 1-0 lead now. And the tank strategy. Just excellent call from them. Bully your way in there and just overrun the defense.
I think strategically, London was superior here, able to deal with kind of a curveball that is a Sombra on Hanamura first, shut that down very quickly. They knew exactly how to run their offense and the little scouting. Let's send 2 here, more squad-based play. Teams get shut down when they send all 6 up the stairs. London was able to do something a little bit different and move map 2 after this break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
In week 2 of stage 2, the Florida Mayhem were 1 hold away from taking the London Spitfire to a tiebreaker map. With 30 seconds remaining, Florida had 3 ultimates banked as London came in for their final push.
Now they still have advantage for the next fight.
Florida's advantage would not last long, as Hureg eliminated both Zebasai's Lucio and then Tvik's Soldier 76 before he could use his tactical visor.
Hureg decides to take matters into his own hands. 2 kills for him, and Prophet chimes in with a kill on Zoop and 1 more on Swoosh.
With half of the Florida Mayhem returning from spawn and the payload only meters away from the final point, the clutch tandem of Hureg and Prophet cleared a path for victory.
Vic got killed with his Prophet will take down his counterpart. Tactical visor comes out, but Transcendence going to ruin that day.
Hureg's Deadeye sealed the deal with a kill on Swoosh's Winston, and the London Spitfire would take the map and the match. That right there was the turning point where Hureg and the London Spitfire took a sour moment and turned it into something sweet. Presented by Sour Patch Kids Candy.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you learned something from that. I mean, really sick, the fact that Hureg and Prophet were able to pop off and do something magical there. We were actually watching those guys play right now. Well, one of them at least.
Yeah.
Hureg is still watching in the wings, in the dugout.
It doesn't seem like we have any substitutes, so not just yet here as we go on to our next map, which will be Nepal. I mentioned a bit in the pregame that these teams have met before. Boston came out on top 3-2 thanks to their play on control maps. Now, Nepal was not in that pool. They won Ilios in the set of 4, and then we went to the tiebreaker as well. So they have not yet to play Nepal, but they were able to beat London on control maps earlier. So it's just a matter of, is this map one for them? And I think they're good on control because you can just straight up out DPS people. You can just out mechanic people.
You can out chaos people.
Yes.
Hex, and that is it. Chaos reigns when it's the North American teams playing. And on control, that's what it's all about. You can have more space for Striker to just get in there and start, hamstringing the back line. You can't allow for the tanks to really just get up in their face. And so perhaps that is what Boston are going to be counting on here. You may have a more measured approach coming in from the London Spitfire, but Boston could just try and throw everything at them in the kitchen sink too.
I always think that's a good choice against teams that maybe just have you just a little bit outclassed if you think someone's better. First of all, control just kind of breeds it, but then just show them something different. Take their plans and throw something at them that they have to adjust to. And then if they find an adjustment, throw something different at them as well. I think the best shot for some of these teams with mostly Western players is to just throw some chaos at them, see how they deal with it. And if they deal with it fine, then try to play their own game. But I think going at them head-to-head and the style they want to play, look, the teams like London and Seoul don't make mistakes. They just don't. And so you have to find a way to force them into situations where they're not going to be as crisp and clean, well-oiled machines that they're used to. DPS-wise, it does seem like Dreamcasper wants to play Soldier 76, which is very good on this map. You have 2 options, play Statue or play High Ground. It seems like London's going to try to take away one of those options immediately as their rollout will go through High Ground. They're going to take away, and it's interesting to see the first battle come here. That's Boston going to give up that High Ground and just play point.
Exactly right. Play point. Well, that is also a strong position for Dreamcasper to find himself in if he hangs around over on the right side of the point by the elephant. He can try and just kind of get some damage in there, but if you stack up Prophet, man, he's just going to dash right through you and ruin your day. Striker does manage to trade a support for Nuss, however, so that's all right. But Birdring is still in this fight, and Kalios is now taken out of it. A lot of HP lost. Fury just chucks himself off the side in disgust.
2 down very early. DPS are going to put them in the corner over there as first control will go over to the London Spitfire there thanks to their DPS coming in. Very aggressive move, and I think it's no secret that that's where Soldier 76 wants to set up. So the moment you see him on the high ground, you know, oh, they're probably going to Elephant Statue. You saw Jester jump on that immediately.
Nice, Nako with the boot! Birdring is gone. But still, this is a battle where Prophet is still alive. He's got the Dragon Blade to boot as well. He could actually keep hanging in here. He is getting top back up again. Boston will be able to flip the point. And it's looking like with 3 alive left over here, they're going to back off and reset. Jester's back into it, but Fury still has to res.
I just realized I need a Foot Clan Soldier skin for Zenyatta. So he gives him the foot. Nothing, no Ninja Turtles? All right, fine.
Man.
You're lost to me. You are absolutely lost to me.
I feel so ashamed. I'm so sad to let you down, Hex.
I'm used to it.
Damn. All right.
Prophet's got Blade ready. He's going to try to get back into this point. You can see this used, well, pretty much alone. He doesn't have a whole lot to combo with, but Boston, you really just want to get a Transcend or a Sound Barrier out of them, then use it, or use it to get those ultimates out. We'll see which Prophet opts to do.
Yeah, go right over the top. Still looking for him. Squishies are out, and there we go. Dream Casper falls immediately. That was to a dash. The sound barrier there for Kelix trying to cancel out some of this DPS, but it's not going to be enough. Gesture will be there to help. And well, yes, Prophet gets overwhelmed, but they forced a lot out of Boston Uprising, and they still have the edge.
That's a value blade if you've ever seen one. They had to use both support ultimates. Boston still trying to keep hold of this point and get all the percentage they can. A beautiful deletion from Birdring. No new mech for you. However, while all this is happening, that progress will go back away. 70% now for Boston, about one fight away from taking first stage here on Nepal.
They're very low on ult economy right now, London Spitfire. Don't have a whole lot to work with. They committed a bit to that fight as well, and so Boston, they are pulling ahead. Striker with a pulse bomb. We've been seeing him hit him all day long, and sure enough, there it is, but it gets caught on the edge of the shield. Gesture survives just a little bit longer. Striker, he has to go ahead and put in the elbow grease, get it done the old way.
Well, they've made trades all over this. It's just about if London can close it out with their remaining players. Striker still being a nuisance is going to rotate over, gets dashed through. Somehow gets some help from a Guardian Angel over his shoulder, takes down Prophet. He was sitting at 7 HP.
And this is it. Now Boston, they've got the positional advantage here with Dream Casper. He can hang around in the middle and just keep smacking people in the face with rockets. Point blank Helix there on Nus will end him. Birdring trying to do the best that he can, at least to tap the point to keep overtime going, but he gets immediately clipped that time by Kalios, and that's pretty much going to end it here. No, Gesture again jumps in, but his teammates are so far away, he dies, and that's it. Boston will be picking up the first point here on Nepal.
Every time I watch Boston play, I'm re-impressed by Dream Casper because he always shows me something on a new hero every single time. His pool is so deep, and that can be detrimental to some of the players in the Overwatch League. Yeah, he's good at a lot of stuff. Is he great at everything? I think you could put Casper on almost anything and put him in the discussion for top 3, top 5 at that position. His soldier play, his tracking is impeccable. His positioning is great. I like that he just runs up on people. When he's safe, he's just making sure that he's hitting more bullets in the head and putting people down quickly. He got a great finishing Soldier 76.
He's definitely one of the X factors for Boston Uprising. We have seen him really deliver god tier performances in the past that allowed Boston to squeak through and get wins. So if anything is going to lead to a victory here for Boston Uprising, Dream Casper will definitely be a big part of it. Well, again, you know, more sight on his hero pool. Now we've got the Pharah in play.
Running a Pharah with just the orb, no mercy with Pharah, have to play a little more passively, and you know, best of luck to you. Godspeed, sir. He's going against Birdring's Widow on this Pharah.
Yeah, he spotted it now. So this is where it gets a bit tricky. He's got to play these angles. You got to be super careful because Birdring, one headshot. Him staying alive this long is forcing Birdring to keep an eye over here.
I mean, he's kind of neutralized Birdring just by being in existence, right? Birdring's not able to help his team on the point. It's a matter of which is the better 5 squad that's actually going to fight this match. Dream Casper is going to sneak a rocket and take down Padoshin, but Birdring, step for step, will take down the opposing Zen as well.
In that 5v5, it seemed like they were just going to come ahead here. London Spitfire with Prophet pumping bullets into them non-stop. Kelix, not long for this world. Surely, right on the edge. Prophet. Very stylish finish there for that frag, but now he's got his pulse bomb.
See if Dream Casper sticks on this. One, it's already hard to run this into a Widow anyway. Yeah, immediately off of it. But then running into a Widow who's established and you're trying to come in as a Pharah, very, very difficult. Dream Casper gonna flex, shows the depth of his hero pool. Gonna move over to Genji instead, maybe try to even just pressure Birdring.
All right, opportunity here now for Prophet. Exactly, gets for the recall, back in there, hoping for the back line. Instead has to give ground and blink away. Good awareness here from Boston Uprising, not giving him the space necessary to just stick it. And, well, he will miss the pulse bomb as well. So, Prophet does need to step up a little bit here on the individual level to keep up with this man in question. Striker with the double off the pulse.
Striker's going to try to put on his carry pants today. He did it yesterday against Shanghai. Can he do it against the team of the likes of London? Casper's going to get the cleanup there. Boston will flip this point over to their control. 52% for the side of London. Now Birdring off of the Widow. Going to play Genji of his own. So it always starts off really interesting, and then teams are like, oh yeah, let's dive. That's a pretty good comp. It's been around for a long time. These are pretty good heroes.
Versatile, lots of options, lots of punching power. Especially when you got Striker. What? He's at a minute average right now for Pulse Bomb. That is still pretty good. It's not the bonkers level that we saw yesterday. That means that your ult is up quite a bit. You are a constant threat. Dream Casper now just getting punched in the face. Eventually, he's going to be able to get out of there.
I was able to catch the beats, and now he's got full health. He's got them lined up in a hallway. Oh, that dash could have been huge. That'd be a really nice little boop there from Nus to keep them safe as they try to retreat up the stairs. That could have been bad. When you line up like that, a Genji dash through, it can absolutely decimate a team.
Dash, and then the dragon, and then more dashes, and then everything is dead. In nice little cube-shaped forms, you know, hacked up in pieces. And well, there we go. Decides to go straight for it with that Discord. That's going to open it up for Gesture to get dropped immediately. Prophet is gone as well. And so far, things are looking fantastic here for Boston Uprising. Dreamcast even going for more, just chasing Fury all the way back to spawn.
It's that aggressive defense that plays really well for Boston. They invested a blade into that, but not a whole lot else. Still waiting for their support ultimates to come online. London will have a big ultimate advantage, and this is one of those on paper kind of moments where they should win this. They've got Pulse Bomb, they'll have Blade, they have Transcend. Nearing their own sound barrier as well. Nuss could get there during this next fight, which is their last fight if they don't win it.
Well, there we go, point blank. High ground occupied here by Spitfire, but this is going to be it. All pressure on. They need to get some kind of kill that's going to open things up for him. And Fury picking off Nako is a good start. That's definitely going to slow things up, slows down that Transcendence. And so Boston don't have that for this fight. Boston, though, really shouldn't be throwing too much into this, though. Just because they still have a fight after this if they want it. They do get that reset. And so it's not the end.
Well, what was great from London there is that they played it very conservatively.
Yeah.
After the one kill, they just unbound their ultimate button. No one was popping it. Some other teams might throw the blade after it just because, just to make sure that you win it. But London is absolutely confident in where their positioning was, and getting that early kill was enormous for them. Nako is now going to be nearing his support ultimate. Double support ultimates incoming. Nuss has to hit a lot of people with this barrier to give them a good chance. That's a huge kill early, though.
That's big. Striker out of it. A lot of that damage gone. Birdring here as well with the dash right through. Birdring having to give a little bit of ground here, trying to play it patient, trying to play the angle, and there it is, Prophet. Key kill along with Birdring. They deny the remake here for Note. That'll delay things further here for Boston Uprising. One last big push for Boston Uprising because they just crossed the 90% mark here, London Spitfire, to tie it up 1-1.
It's so important to be able to punish divas like that. The last thing you want to do is give a team another 400 HP, which is essentially what a remech diva is. You got to take advantage of those situations. They're going to put pressure on the point. Last fight of this stage.
There it is. The trance has already been used, so Birdring is going to be grinning ear from ear because now he gets to go in here. No support ults to stop him from chopping them all to bits. Michalix is gone. Lucio is out of it, and now this is where you can have Doshin coming through with the trance of his own to keep his team alive. Gesture gets caught out in the open, unfortunate for him, but the damage right now, it's swinging in London's favor.
Remember, that's the blade that he had from about 2 fights ago that he could have thrown away when they really didn't need it. Great economy management will keep London still alive on Nepal. And we're going to Sanctum.
Sanctum, the home of Orissas, the home of Halt, the home of the murder chasm.
So, yeah, I was going to ask what kind of murder we were going to get from you. Because we've got Murder Hole, Murder Pit, Sanctum will be the murder chasm.
Look
I
at
like
it. I mean, if you look at it, if you get the top-down view, it's a chasm.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Seems like you could do like an Indiana Jones movie in the Sanctum.
Yes, definitely. I mean, an old temple, right? You know, what is he gonna find there, though? What's the goal? Is it the golden statue?
I don't.
Sack filled with golden dust?
Probably the Shrine of the Silver Monkey.
There we go. All right, get behind that.
Crossover. It's
gonna
crossover
have to be
episode.
the Shrine, of the Silver Omnic. That's what we've got.
There.
We've already got the Omnic statues out here floating away.
It's Mandata's gold, they say, is hidden down there. I've never believed it.
Where do we have a rare? We actually have a little bit of a change here. Not every day that we get to see the Widow. Birdring in play. And with Prophet, there is going to be that Junkrat with those hallways. He really just gets to chuck those grenades in, melt shields, make it a little bit difficult for Kalios. And well, there you go. That's why. Birdring, again, he's like, you want to run, Farah? Well, guess what? Here's a bullet to the dome. You're not going to be on her for long.
It makes Widow's job very easy when everyone gets halted into the exact same spot. You just aim where that orb is going. The moment that you hear the yoink, you just click those heads and he gets that very easy kill. An unorthodox combination, but one that works very well. They will take first control here. Spitfire definitely in this really kind of cool pick composition here. You've got the halt and hook combination to drop people into the murder chasm. Then you've got Birdring, and if you want to try to avoid those angles, then he's just gonna shoot you in the head. So Boston going to Old Steady. The reason you see teams go back to dive, by the way, is because it was so popular for so long that everyone knows how to play it. You don't need to really figure things out or think about it. You just say dive, and everyone automatically knows the role.
Yeah, just run in and kill things. Well, there we go. Dreamcast for putting on a bit of a demonstration. Birdring gone. Immediately having to give ground. Nuss will be able to get the reset, but that opens it up for Kalios to stomp them flat. Doshin and Nuss both gone. And this is surely a fight where London Spitfire are going to have to back off. Fury, unfortunately for him, not able to farm up that whole hog for the next fight, but Prophet does have a tire.
And Dive is so good at shutting down resurrections too, because you know that they're going to try that. And generally you think that you can run Widow and she dies in safe spaces a lot of the time. You can bring her back to life, but not with Dive, not with the mobility allowed. You hear that res noise, the audio cue incoming, and then you just launch your Winston at it, and now you get free support kills. Wild ride.
Just watching it. Yeah. Oh, he gets caught. And, well, that forces it out, though,
Yeah.
the trance.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. That's fine.
Has a little bit of a panic because Nako's the one who took that tire down as well. So I thought maybe he didn't know that it was actually going to go down. A small misstep there, forcing out the trans. Now they're going to get transcended upon.
And that's going to lead to the death of the tanks. Kalios, the notes, there's nowhere to hide because Birdring can punch you forever. And well, Prophet point blank with a mine straight into Kelix's face. Dream Casper, however, will find the kill on Prophet, but there's only 3 players left here for Boston versus 4. And we got the wings out for Nuss and the res bringing Doshin back into the fight as well. But there's the stick from Striker. Of course, he's never going to say die. He's going to fight until the bitter end.
Is he at least going to tap his toe onto the point? Now he's got help of his tank on this as well as he comes in trying to support, and they have yet to take this over, yet to fully evict. They've not taken the point back as London, as Boston keeps taking up.
Taking down, I mean, Kelix now the sole healer. As we lose Nako, Nako can have a bit of a run back from spawn. Dreamcaster's back into the fight now, but there's so much damage being dealt. Dreamcaster has his blade ready, but that would be folly to use it here. The fight is over, you gotta reset.
Yeah, they're in there gonna farm this all up as well. Boston did a good job. I think they got about 20% there just by stalling out the point. So 76%, that one's close because it's not necessarily one fight away from winning it like an 85 or a 90 is. You would like to get a little bit higher up there. But it can be close, especially if you can turn it back over at 76 and hold on to your tank ultimates here, because you can shut the door on the other team and not even let them touch the point with your Primal Rage and with your self-destruct.
You can go ahead and live your dream of being a bouncer at a door.
Yes, that's what I wanted to be as a child. Unfortunately, my genes didn't allow it.
Listen, it could have been a special bar. All right, getting into it now. Fury with the double SD. Note is gone as well, gets cleaned up by Prophet. And well, London Spitfire now tied up and pulling ahead in terms of percentage on this final point of this map, 80% and counting. Boston Uprising, though, they held on to their ultimates. And so now, well, 4 ults and a big fight coming up. They are grouped up, they're ready to go, moving together as a unit.
It's going to be close. They're going to have to get something out of Prophet, who so far has not really stuck that many bombs there. He's been doing fine on it, but it hasn't been giant impact plays so far. Casper's waiting. They look for him, they don't find him, and now he's behind everyone.
He's behind everybody. They are still grouped up over there, however. Nuss has to be careful. He's got the Valk. Fury getting shot in the back there with those shurikens. Not a pleasant thing at all. And Dreamcasper, exactly. He knows there's no chance to cancel him out. He's going to be able to hack him. Gets the reflex. There's one dead. Not going to be able to get the follow-up, though. He's doing damage to Gesture, but he can't capitalize. And in the meantime, Prophet on this point looking to flip it.
London is so good at giving away stuff they know they can give away. They gave away the cap because they know they're just one fight away. They were very patient, wanted to be in the position for this next fight. Prophet so low, just get his pulse on, waits for the healing, gonna get it, and you can never count the Spitfire out.
Unbelievable, man. Their staying power, they just always are in it. And there you think you finally got rid of Prophet. Guess what? Recall right back into it. We're into overtime now. And Kalios, is he gonna be able to make the jump in time? No! A split second too late. Just couldn't save it for his team. 2-0 lead in the series now for the London Spitfire. And Boston, man, Dreamcasper in particular, when that trance goes out in that last fight, you've got to be grinning, licking your chops, just ready. He's not able to get that turning, that enough impact at the end there.
London just so smart on knowing when they can fight, when they have to fight. There's no need to fight there at that point in time. Give up the point. Let's get closer to our ultimates. Let's take one big fight, and that's why the London Spitfire are up 2-0 as we go into halftime.
Profit is doing work today, not just on Tracer, but also on the Hog. Spitfire are up 2-0 in the half. Welcome back, everyone, to the desk here as we talk about this matchup between the Boston Uprising and the London Spitfire. Bren Sideshow. This has been a pretty exciting game thus far. I mean, game one, I would say, had some back and forth, but game two really for me was like that, like you never know where it was going to go. Boston almost came close to being able to take it. We could have been 1-1. Needless to say, though, game one, definitely an exciting one as well. So we might as well start there and talk about that because I know Gesture has just been on point too.
He really has, yeah. Whenever you look at the London Spitfire, the front line is really controlled so well by Gesture. I've been bigging up Muma, saying that he might be the best tank in the league. I think I'd flip-flop back over to Gesture after seeing his performance in the last couple of matches. This guy is phenomenal, and he can play all of the different styles of Winston, seemingly. When he has his Primal Rage up, he feels like it's all right for him to take more solo routes, be able to go really aggressive, and he uses his Primal Rage to be able to survive when he's playing more alone. Or he can play with the entirety of his team, completely lock off a forward choke point, ruin the Sombra strategy that Boston Uprising tried to do. The guy's an absolute beast, and then you pair him up with Prophet and Birdring, and I mean, this team just looks so solid all over the place.
It's very rare to have a player who knows that role so well that they can play it in a variety of different play styles like Gesture can. It's really only an attribute that you can give to Gesture, Muma. I mean, who else would you give it in the tank line? Maybe Fate as well.
Fisher as well.
Fisher as well. Like, it's only a handful of main tanks that are capable of playing like that, and it's super impressive whenever you see it because they can just switch it up on the fly just like that.
Yeah, but Bren, I want to dive deeper.
You want to go deeper than that?
I need some insights powered by Intel. That's right. Boom.
I got it.
You like that?
Don't you worry. Don't you worry. The insights powered by Intel. We're going to be diving a little deeper into the way Gesture's brain works. And this is just a cutesy little play that I noticed. So to set things up, first thing you need to know is that Nako, he died earlier on into the fight. Gesture has been keeping track of this in his mind. Now, this fight is going a bit pear-shaped right now for London. They're currently on the back foot. All of Boston are currently just absolutely slanging them in this top area here. And Gesture is alone on the point. He's just a lone warrior. So what is he going to do here? Now, normally, most main tanks, you'd think, they're going to join the fight with the rest of the team. Not Gesture, no. He realizes that Nako's going to be out of position, so he's going to dive over and take control of this area here. So Nako is split up from his team, and they're not going to have the Zenyatta. We'll just play this out quickly so you can see how it goes. So London already losing a few players. It goes back and forth. And Gesture, he leaps over here. Now he's going to be controlling up this area. He spots Nako out. He has the Primal Rage, so he's perfectly fine. Uses it. bumps Nako into the rest of his team, and now you might be thinking, okay, we're in the danger zone here. This is going awfully for them, but it's so orchestrated, and London managed to recover from this so well. So the sound barrier gets used by Kellex, and now most teams would crumble under this sort of pressure, but London, they come straight back at it. Fury comes in with a dive, Prophet, and Gesture, and they just collapse straight onto the remaining members of Boston on this team whilst they're split up. So right now, Boston are currently trying to take down the supports, but they focus fire so well. They start with Nako, they bring down these sort of weak targets, they find it. Gesture does eventually go down here, but he's already done his job. He's bought enough time now for Birdering to come back into the fight, and they do manage to get, once again, another solid defense. So that was just my little in-depth look of the way Gesture was playing that game, and just shows, again, a perfect example of what you were saying of how he when he plays with his Primal Rage, when he knows it's up, plays much more individually.
Yeah.
So it's tasty. I love it. Love it when you see it.
Okay, tasty and pear-shaped. Didn't know what that was, but
and,
all right, go ahead.
And London Spitfire in general, I think what we've seen from them is that they have the ability to react so quickly to what is thrown at them. I know the casters were talking about it as well when the Sombra came out, or when they switched it up to a more heavy dive composition. It seems like London Spitfire really, especially on Assault, they know how to adjust to all of the different looks that get thrown at them. When the Sombra came out, they dived on it, and they were completely controlling that health pack area, made sure there was no room for maneuver. When the dives come in, if they take a left-hand route, they all know how to reposition. Birdering's always adjusting his positioning beautifully. So this is a team that's incredibly difficult to beat on Assault. When you move over to stuff like Control, where you have less of the positioning and more of kind of fight engagements, I think that's where they can look a little more mortal.
Yeah, I'd agree with that completely, to be honest. I mean, Control showed a much more even game, I suppose. Even though map 1 was very even, when we moved into Nepal, it looked a little bit closer in the side of Boston. In fact, they were 99, I think, on both the rounds that we saw. And it was very impressive from them. And we know Boston is capable of this as well. From stage 1, we know that their general team cohesion is definitely up there. They work very well as a team when it comes to using the dive composition. And it can take a lot of these teams off guard, but London just have the edge over them in terms of the fact that they too are a team that can work well together.
Well, I was going to say, Boston did a really good job of receiving the dive, right? You know, they took advantage, had 76 Tracer, and they played very well into that. And London kind of just went into it, and then they just got shredded. Meanwhile, when they went toe-to-toe in dive, it was very clear that London had that edge, and I think it just goes to show you how just put together this squad is. It is so dangerous.
It is. I think it's really interesting, actually, when you look at the approaches of different teams and their philosophies, because a lot of the time you'll hear people talking about, okay, X is the best player on our opposing team, we need to shut him down. But actually, most teams get success by focusing on the weaknesses of other teams. When you're playing against the London Spitfire, they don't have many weaknesses, so it becomes really difficult to think about where you want to focus your attention. Do you try and shut down Prophet when he's going off? But what actually has worked the most so far is putting a bit more attention on Gesture and Fury. And with the Soldier 76 Tracer composition that they used on Shrine, if they can get a lot of long-range damage into Gesture and Fury, they tend to slow down a little bit and can't go for these crazy plays, and then the whole setup kind of falls apart.
You notice as well, like in Nepal, various points where they were prioritizing with the Soldier 76, like you were saying, they were using the damage boost with the Mercy as well, just literally poking at Gesture the entire time, just trying to bring him down to low HP so he can't get those dives in, he can't get the damage done by diving in and setting up these engages for the rest of his team. So it's a nice game plan in general when it works, but in that case, London just seemed to be able to adapt, maneuver around what they were trying to play much more effectively than I guess Boston were used to.
I mean, look, the truth is, when you look at this roster and you see the players that are on that stage, there's not a single weekness there, man. They are all powerful beings.
Like we say this so much. They are all Super Saiyans. They're Super Saiyans. Listen, this is the thing with London. Like we say it so many times, right? They got the potential. They're coming into this. I mean, this is not the first Dragon Ball reference I'm going to be making today, but it's like you beat them down. You beat them down. You know, the Saiyans, they get stronger when they get beat down, right? You know, they get on the verge of weakness, the verge of death. When they come back, that's it. Suddenly. Boom, they've unlocked the next level of Saiyan. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they keep me captivated for so long. I mean, the storylines are just getting rinsed and repeated, but still, I love it.
All of those references went about 10 miles over my head. Just didn't have a clue.
Hey,
are you saying they're
Miles? Use Miles. You're American.
I'm saying
now.
they're good. I'm saying
we use Miles in the UK.
No, you don't. All right, guys. So that is going to do it for the half. But the good news is, for Boston fans, they're not out of it just yet. They can make the reverse sweep happen. They have the capability to do so. Will they do it on Hollywood is the question. Don't go anywhere as the Spitfire and the Uprising take place after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Mistakes, DPS, Boston Uprising.
Mistakes were made. Everyone getting amped up for mistakes to come in here.
My favorite hero is Anna. You really can be flexible with your playstyle and what you're doing in the game.
It's really cool what Boston is doing, though. We haven't seen mistakes all season.
Buddy! I like it. Mistakes. More of that.
Before I began professional Overwatch player, I was a professional tennis player. My spirit came from tennis that I want to compete. And that really helps me in Overwatch right now.
Mistakes couldn't have asked for a better situation. Perfect, saw the targets he was looking for.
I'm looking to compete against Philadelphia Fusion just because they got Shadowburn. Like, we are only 2 Russians in Overwatch League. My personal goals for this season is to become one of the best players, obviously. But I think teamwork is really important. And yeah, I want to be best teammate.
Mistakes cleaning up, absolutely crushing so far.
All right, welcome back, everybody. There we go. Mistakes going to be subbing in for Dream Casper. Hex, why?
Well, we'll see. They're playing Hollywood, and Mistakes has been playing the Sombra for them a lot of times. They might want to play a Sombra on first point, maybe second point. You can play Sombra on nearly every point of Hollywood. There's a lot of great packs for him, too. I'm able to kind of talk with him just a little bit. And he's a former Tracer player, and I'm like, how excited are you to be able to play like Sombra next when she's pretty much Tracer for the Translocate? And he just started grinning a little bit. Maybe next meta when the patch goes live, we'll see a little bit more Sombra there. London looking to close this one out. Already up 2-0 in the set. If they win Hollywood, that will be the set. Of course, we'll play Gibraltar just for kicks. And we'll see how it goes. But Boston's very close here. I mean, that control could have gone either way. A couple small mistakes here and there. Mistakes. And we'll see how it goes.
He's not a small guy, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's tall.
Taller than you?
Everyone's tall. Everyone's tall. Literally everyone.
Hold on, let me get back on my stool here. Build some confidence. But I mean, in terms of what mistakes can do, we saw it in the highlight reel there as well. You know, as far as the footage, the man definitely knows how to play Sombra on this map. He knows how to find those angles. He knows how to get on top of the targets he wants to get really that EMP value. So curious to see how long they will be able to stick with him on it.
I mean, the question is London going to be able to shut it down? Because they were able to shut down the Sombra play pretty early on in Hanamura as well. But it's not a traditional map for Sombra. This map is definitely better for it. As we fly through, you see the pack right there. That if they get to this point, that's the pack you want to hack as Sombra there, and your team's able to play around it very well. 2 packs here on the first point. Second point is actually really nice for them. You have the option to go right or left. Generally, right side is where you're going to play that with the mega pack over there.
Well, we've been stuffed, Hex.
Yeah?
You notice that Mistakes is on Junkrat and Nako is on Sombra?
Yeah.
That's not a typo. That's not a typo. They've decided to pull a fast one on us.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not used to being right.
Well, we saw that Nako could play it, but he did get stuffed pretty quick there by London Spitfire on Amora when they tried to run the Sombra. So interesting to see that they're deciding to change up who's playing the Sombra, because really when we see Mistakes play, we see him on Sombra. But
yeah, it's a small sample size, but perhaps he's got a better Junkrat than Dreamcasper. That's who he's subbing in for anyway.
Fair.
And we'll see how that works out for them. London on the offense, gonna go pure dive here, so setting up with the Cafe, not great, but Boston's got some answers to this in the Roadhog and the Junkrat, very good against those flanking heroes, able to set up static positions. And we'll see how the Sombra works out on this defense for Boston.
Pack control, that's gonna be the name of the game, and there we go. Prophet gonna figure out real quick that perhaps his pack over there that you could try and count on to keep him topped up is not going to be possible, and so there's gonna be a limited amount of healing here for London Spitfire. It's gonna be on the healers, on the supports to keep the boys alive. They're making quite a bit of progress early on here, however, London Spitfire. A bit of a chaotic situation, and Nako gets clipped. And so this is the opportunity that London was looking for. Now you have one of the big parts, the keys here for the Boston Uprising defense, already gone. 2 ticks ready, and Boston, you gotta get out of the coffee shop sometimes. Put away the laptops, put away the lattes, and get to work.
You're not a screenwriter. Quit deluding yourself. Get out of the cafe, get onto the point. They just chose not to really fight there until now. It's the 25th hour, have to get out on this point and fight, but now London is in the position to deal with them coming out. So far, still making some progress here. With all of those kills, you have to imagine that London will take this first point with relative ease.
And that was just a run and gun, never-ending fight that eventually London Spitfire were able to come out ahead on, and they will capture the first point. Kalios desperately trying to get through the doorway, but I think he was getting body blocked, so just not able to get out there to continue to contend. So,
well, Nako just got his EMP towards the end of that, and that's because London played in the cafe in front of the pack. That was the only thing hacked right there, but you'd have to go through bodies to be able to get at that small pack, not even a mega pack. So charge not quite there. Nako's gonna get off of the Sombra immediately, so that gambit that they tried to run did not work out for them.
Didn't pan out. Well, London Spitfire are going to be feeling pretty fantastic right now. They don't quite have the 6-pack, but they have definitely got a lot to work with going into this following push. Only the Blade getting invested as well. So just Kelix gone, obliterated immediately. They still have 5 ults to work with, although Prophet did just get caught by Striker, so that's a valuable kill. No pulse here.
Yeah, he'll be back in the mix here shortly, though. It's a short walk, especially when you can traverse time and space, as our Witchcraft Sorceress from Britain can do. They are having 5 alts to go forward with. It's going to be very difficult for Boston. They need to get their economy in shape right now. They've got a self-destruct and a pulse bomb. The man to watch is Striker, see if he can start equalizing here.
Trying to get in here, he will get a bit of a challenge at least. And there's the trance used by Doshin, trying to set up this next initiate, this next fight, as there is Kelix gonna be gone. Teamed up with Gesture, just getting kill after kill. Prophet decides to chime in and get in on the action himself. Definitely doesn't want to let them hog all the fun. And Fury will find Striker. So now the contest possibilities here kind of running out for Boston Uprising, and that cart just gonna keep roaring over towards the studios.
Note got himself 2 kills during that. Mistakes has been on the 76 for a bit. He's going to have Tactical Visor, not the best area to be able to use it. It's going to be about where can he come out here. I think this is the right angle to take. Maybe he uses the tech visor here when his team's distracted. He's going to wait for that Winston bubble at the very least to dissipate. Might be the time now, especially with D.Va out of mech.
Yeah, no mech D.Va, although she can potentially get back into it. He's going to look to deny that, and well, Birdring caught out in the open, definitely not where he wants to be. Going to zip back around the corner, and so Tactical Visor only really going to be doing damage to the tanks, and that's not ideal. Nako, however, and Kalios will come out ahead, and there we go. The wall of blue in the kill feed for Boston Uprising, finally winning a fight.
Very good rebuttal for them. And it was a nice positioning there by Mistakes to go towards the cart there. He saw the rotation was happening over towards the other side. That's where his tanks went. And pretty much when you're on Soldier 76, you can just follow your own tanks because in front of them is going to be the enemy. Shoot through your own guys and you'll end up getting those hit notifications. So second point has been stalled out here, and now Boston's in a good position. Kellex finally has his Valkyrie up for the next fight, can preemptively use it if he's getting pressured because they're definitely targeting him. Oh, a little sneaky.
Yeah, a little sneaky play there from Prophet. He's going to get the recall out of harm's way, however. Birdring on high, gets top back up. He's got the blade, and so that could be exactly the big play. He's going to go straight for the defense. Mistakes is gone. If he can pick up that ulting Valk, that would be big, but he's not going to be able to connect with Mercy. Kellex counting his lucky stars that he's still alive in this fight.
Well, he put him in a bad position that he was not able to resurrect anybody either. Still alive in this fight, but it is only Kellex and a few others remaining. Doing his best to keep it alive is Kalios, but that will be London taking this second point in short order here. They continue to roll through. In a game, the seesaw of an economy keeps going back and forth. London now in a much better position. I think Nutt's gonna stay on this. He's definitely he gets the resurrection there. He's close to Valkyrie. Now you wanna run it on second because of the verticality. Mercy, one of the only support heroes able to get up to your team when they're on the roof, or at least easily, not having to wait for that slow ride elevator.
And now Birdring getting the swap onto McCree. Long lines of sight for him to go to work. Looking for those headshots, Prophet. There's Kellex. Oh, Mistakes! What a sick helix! That was awesome. Mid-air as an afterthought. Prophet definitely not expecting that one.
Very nice play there. Birdring still alive in the backline, trying to hit these shots, not quite finding it just yet. They come around the corner, but now London has been so patient. They're gonna have support ultimates up for this next fight. It's a matter of what order they want to use them in. Both these support ultimates kind of do similar things, AoE healing being the best benefit of them.
Absolutely, Striker definitely needs some healing, needs to get topped up a little bit. It seems like Prophet will get forced back, but Prophet going for the pulse, and Prophet with the double! Kellex gone! Big kills coming through here, and this is a big opportunity now for London Spitfire to continue to press forward. They held on to 3 ults as well, and Birdring getting closer and closer to the Deadeye, which can be used out in the open here to just zone off the defense, stop them from getting onto the point.
A double pulse bomb kill during a Transcendence. The burst damage too much. You can't heal through it right there. Able to demech 2, and that puts them in a 4v6 while a support ultimate is out. Mistakes being completely shut down with that tactical visor. Meanwhile, on the ground, though, Striker has taken down a couple. It's a 4v4 on the point. However, Boston has no healing.
Now you still have Birdring here. Look at how much damage you can do when you hear that headshot go in, man. People are not happy about that if they're on the receiving end. And Prophet right up there, keeping on top of the support, on top of the backline, not letting Kellex get comfortable. Mistakes will get caught by Doshin. Doshin with the double, in fact. And this is where things can get a bit out of hand. Boston Uprising trickling in one after another, and eventually London Spitfire will succeed in collecting all 3 points on Hollywood.
Doshin does what he does, just a casual 3 eliminations there at the end, no problem. He's so mechanically gifted as Zenyatta, it seems unfair at times for this London team. They're able to finish out Hollywood here. If they're able to stop Boston anywhere along the way, then they will be taking the series.
He just brings so much damage. I'm glad that we're getting the replay of his positioning here. He brings so much damage to the table on top of the excellent heals, on top of the trance. He dealt, what, 5,000 damage there. Compared to Nako, you know, 3,000, and then only 285 from Kellex, but Kellex was on Mercy most of that time. So, I mean, it's just like, you just have that extra DPS that could give you that extra little bit of oomph in the push.
And it's another reason that you run Mercy when you have a Zenyatta carry like that, because Zenyatta is almost impossible to kill if a Mercy is with him, right? They're great duel together. They don't necessarily have the peel or mobility that other supports have, like a Lucio, or maybe even an Ana with a sleep dart. But you can't kill the Zenyatta because he's got the beam on him constantly. Then if you switch to the Mercy, the Zen's just going to discord you and kill you anyway. They work so well in tandem, and a lot of teams still realizing the utility of that Mercy there. And then when the beam's on him to keep him alive, just switch it over to damage, and you let him fly through with the damage boosted orbs as well.
Jonak's like, sup? Somebody talking about me? Somebody talking about me? Jonak constantly getting damage boosted. It's how he does so much DPS on Zen. But hey, you know, that's a team strategy. New York definitely have one of those Zens that can really get that carry potential going. All right, set up here for London Spitfire. We will have Birdring running the junk, Prophet on the Tracer. And as far as Boston Uprising are concerned, it doesn't look like they're even going to try and go for anything clever here at the beginning. It's straight dive right out the gates.
No, perhaps just wanting to give some Mistakes some play time today, integrating everybody as part of this team. We expected a Sombra play out of him. It's what we've seen him play in the past.
Yes.
That was mostly on Route 66, another great Sombra map, so they don't want to run it here on the offense. We'll see how his Genji stacks up. He feels very confident in a lot of different heroes.
He wants to show, he wants to have the opportunity to show that he is capable as a DPS on a variety of heroes. Kalios on high. They do manage to get a little bit of a foothold going here, Boston Uprising. London Spitfire allowing them quite a bit of room to work with, and they are holding pretty far back. But Kalios getting bolted down here, nearly on the edge, can't even jump back out the safety. Prophet doesn't let him, and then Gesture's there to take out Mistakes. Two valuable heroes lost here for Boston Uprising, and they're already trying to back out of here, but it doesn't look like they're going to let Striker get out unscathed. He's gone 6 feet under.
Looked like a bit of miscommunication there. Always hard to tell. Looked like he jumped in, and then perhaps halfway through his leap, the call came in that they were going a different angle because he turned tail very quickly. I thought it was actually a really cool play to jump into the cafe, drop your bubble, and kind of mitigate any sort of help that those people in the cafe can give you, but did not work out for them as London simply collapsed on him.
Now they were aware that Striker could be on an off angle here. They are going to move together, though. Striker still on the point. Will take the duel with Prophet. Goshen chucking orbs through these angles, hoping to connect with Face. Not quite yet. And in the meantime, his team, they're really not giving a whole lot here for Boston to collapse on. They're putting a couple players on the point. This is a big one, though. Nako managing to get the win, and Nako turning up as well.
That is 100% over. They 4 quick kills. Well, you know what? It is London, so maybe they'll bring it back. It's always hard to call. Prophet is doing his best one-man team impression. Able to get a couple kills, but not quite enough there. And Boston now is also on the verge of getting very impactful ultimates online. Both supports, both DPS. They did that just with plain old-fashioned shoot them in the face.
The observers are on point today. I was just wondering, Nako, where did he come through here to just get all of these kills and collapse that defense? Because it was looking so good for London Spitfire. Definitely not expecting the flanking Zen. That definitely ruined it there for London Spitfire.
Can't hear him, just floating on air.
Oh, no. Mistakes has got the blade, though.
A lot of this is going to be up to Mistakes to be able to try to shut down Birdring, perhaps with his tanks as well. You can't let a Widow do whatever she wants here on the Westworld phase of Hollywood. Birdring already does have Mistakes in his sights. Baits on the deflect.
And production up top. There we go. More Zen loving.
Pushed all the way back. Luckily for Boston, though, that was kind of a push that ended before it started, so they didn't end up using ultimates there. A very nice stagger late is going to make Boston have to wait for their Diva player, but they have 6 check marks at the top of their screen. That means all 6 ultimate abilities are online. It's just a matter of how they want to combo these. I'm always a big fan of Barrier into Blade. It lets your Genji play much more aggressively. Won't have to use a deflect because he's got a giant shield on.
I'm a fan of Chips and Salsa. You crack open the 6th pack, and which one is going to start? They're waiting for it. Mistakes. There we go. Mistakes going to go for the blade as the trance wears off. Decides it's a bit too hot to handle and gets out of here. Still gets a swipe in on Prophet. Bit more damage. Prophet on the edge. Can he get the last shuriken? This would be big. And there it is. It's time to get it done manually.
Should be able to clean up this Widow as well. The deflect there is going to make sure that he does not get domed in the face. Birdring down, and this dive continues to go forward. They did expend nearly all of their ultimates. Only Pulse Bomb remains, so the swing back should be pretty strong for London, as they're going to have Valkyrie ready for them as well. Birdring knows that he's not going to be able to take high ground anymore based on where this card is, so he switches off of the Widowmaker.
A whole lot of ults used in that fight, though, for Boston. Only Striker with the Pulse Bomb left. Gesture leaps in. He's got Primal Rage, though, so he doesn't really mind too much. He's just going to be a nuisance here, forcing them off of the point. Valuable time burning off the clock here for Boston Uprising, and once again having to give ground. Gesture, man, just not letting up the pressure whatsoever. He will eventually get traded. Note is going to be there, but that creates the opportunity to take down Kalios for his teammates. And well, they just continue to just hunt kills.
That trade is absolutely fine there too. He knows they're not coming in once he's taken down them out of the fight. And also he pushed them all the way back, that even if he doesn't trade there, he's going to be back for the next fight given on where spawn is and where the next fight is likely to take place given the payload's progress. I was a little bit surprised that Striker did not pull the trigger on that Pulse Bomb. I thought he had Zen dead right. So there might have been a Diva there that I didn't notice as well. Boston, though, not all the push that they wanted. They've only got it halfway through Westworld here, having to use all those ults. That's a huge opening kill from Nako, though. Profit out of the mix.
And on top right now, Profit is gone. Trance has been forced. That's from the 3. That trio diving in. The Genji, the Diva, and the Winston working together here for Boston, and that opens it all up. Mistakes with a double dash kill on the supports. Always feels good. Blade going to work as well. And Boston Uprising, some very solid dive work, some teamwork there.
Great to see Mistakes playing well on his Genji. Of course, he came up a little bit as a Tracer main, but you know, those are translatable skills when you're running a pure dive composition. You know when it's time to go. The mechanics are, of course, vastly different between a Genji and a Tracer, but it's not necessarily about positioning and then when are you going to go and when do you have to retreat?
It's all feel and the comms as well. Mistakes though. Up close, these kills allowing them to really make some progress here on this payload. Past the second point, Nako wondering, hey guys, how's it going over there? Anything? Yeah? Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm fine. You know,
just tweeting on the cart.
Just hanging out.
Just tweeting on the cart.
This exec, you know, he gets kind of antsy, but he's a cool guy. You know.
London made some changes. Birdring, for a moment, was on the Widow, which I actually like for this last point. It's just one long hallway, but there's going to be a lot of times where they're not playing in that hallway. They're playing above. They have the dive composition, so he's going to go to a Genji of his own. They have made a switch onto the Ana, though, so perhaps trying to keep at least one of their supports out of the fray.
Looking for the reset. Falc is out, though, for Kelix. We hear it burning away. Mistakes. Just throwing shurikens in left and right. London Spitfire darting in, trying to just delay a little bit further. Down to 1:50 on the clock here for Boston Uprising. Mdoshin, good angle for him to just chuck orbs straight down the alley, but Mistakes now. He's got his blade. He's going to be looking for him. He knows where the Zen is playing from. If he can just find the opportunity to get the dash into the back, things could get a bit hairy here for London Spitfire.
London was playing very passive, but I think they were waiting for that nano boost to come in, and then they will engage. Here comes the counter blade, though, looking for some.
And there's the one. Oh no! Denied by Birdring. Mistakes, not able to pull it off. Definitely saw his chance, but Profit's having none of it.
They will be deflected here as we're just over 1 minute on the clock. Mistakes makes a switch over to McCree for this final push. Well, maybe second to penultimate push, if you will. Birdring's gonna have Blade. Other than that, pretty empty across the alt boards up top. Mistakes going to the McCree perhaps to shut down these flankers from London.
Flashbang, obviously a good answer. And well, Birdring decides, hey, it's my time to shine. Nako is not having it. Shuts him down with the volley immediately. He is gone. That's a frustrating moment there, but Boston Uprising, now they've got the golden chance. There's the flashes. I was saying it. Fury gets denied a remake opportunity. Profit's still going to be alive here, however. Mistakes wishing perhaps that he had that grenade, but Note will be there as a helping hand. And they are so close now, Boston Uprising, to pulling this off, to getting this push to come together and work. Birdring gets denied on the Mei. Gesture leaps in, but it gets melted immediately. Now it's Notion's turn. With the Deadeye here for Mistakes, there is a chance at least to get the DMX, but it's not even necessary. Knocked off the point.
Melted is not even strong enough of a word of what happened to that Primal Rage Winston. Jumps in, he's discorded already. They flashbang him. I think a fan the hammer came in him. That's about the fastest you'll ever see 1,000 HP disappear. Absolutely deleted. The Mei play came in. Birdring really struggling to find what hero he wanted to play in the last 5 minutes or so on this map. Switched 3 or 4 times, switched in spawn a couple times, did not have a great answer to it. I've just been really impressed with Mistakes. If you took his name away and said it was Dreamcast, I'd be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, he is definitely, he has got that level right now. He's showing it as well. And, well, perfect opportunity for him to do so. I mean, you can be a sub for a team, but being a part of the main roster is definitely what it's all about.
Oh, these players want to play. It's all about the passion, getting in the game. And being part of a team is great. You like to scrim, you like to practice and help people out, but you want to be on that stage in prime time right now. 1 minute for this push from the Boston Uprising. London Spitfire will have 2 when it is their turn to attack. So this first attack for Boston has to be flawless. They're not going to try to mess around with a Sombra or anything like that. That takes sometimes a little too long to charge. They're just going to go pure dive. Why not? It's been working for them. London should be able to expect this, though. That was perhaps why Birdring is on the Junkrat here.
Exactly right. Get Birdring in there, you get that trap to kind of trap the monkeys in, to trap the divas as they dive in and maybe get some free kills out of it. A lot of damage being dealt as well. So Birdring on high, already up to 27% on his ultimate. Feel good moment for him, for sure. But Boston, similar approach to what we saw last time. getting a bit of a foothold here on the high ground, and then we'll see, do they decide to go for the cafe, or is it going to be straight onto the point?
I like that London has every angle covered. Mistakes wanted to go around for the flank, but there's a Tracer watching that hallway to at least give them the information that they need. London is very spread out. They're not going to get dove upon and take a bunch of massive damage from a Leap or D.Va mini missiles.
No, but there it is. Kalios, a lot of DPS taken off the board. Birdring is gone. So some progress will be getting made here. Mistakes going to be dashing in. The shield is used by Gesture, who has to leap back on the hunt. Mistakes with the headshot shuriken. Perfect pick. And now is where the party starts. Boston Uprising, they've got one tick. Heiko finds the trap after all.
Well, Calyx is going to pop his Valkyrie here just to ensure that they get the point. They know that London never gives up on points, and they're going to come back out. A lot of ultimates being used, and London so far, double kill.
Yeah, turning it around. Birdring now with the tire point blank, doesn't care, puts it right into Striker. And that's not going to leave a whole lot here for Boston Uprising to work with. Although, as I say that, Mistakes has got the blade. Finds Notion to start things off, looking for another target here, looking for anything, but he's getting mines to the face, so that's never pleasant. And he was the last man on the point. Kalios running in, but he's not going to make it in time. And round 3 complete. London managed to hold on the first point here on Hollywood.
Just so patient, understanding what is at stake on that point, and if it's time to fight on the point, put yourself in harm's way, or to hold back. That has been the mark of London all series long, and now they are simply 80% away from taking this series. That's all they need on first point. And I thought the ults might have come out a little late there for Boston, and they wanted to hold them. They thought they're in position to have Valkyrie for the next couple engagements. Maybe an earlier Valkyrie allows them to get more aggressive, push them out, not allow the jump back, but it's all easy to say in retrospect, looking back.
Yeah, that hindsight 2020 vision. Always nice, but that's the joy of being a commentator, or an analyst, Hex, or a coach.
Yeah, or a random poster on the forums.
Yeah, social media, it's a wonderful thing. Everybody gets a chance. Everybody gets a say.
Everybody gets a voice.
Well,
wonderful.
Wonderful. Boston Uprising now. Flipping it over on the defense. London Spitfire with a good bit of time here to work with. 2 minutes on the clock.
And because they have that 2 minutes, they can go with this slow and steady push. They're going to run a Rhine, a Roadhog, and a D.Va. They're just going to be the impending glacier of Hollywood, steadily creeping towards the point. 2 minutes, probably enough time to even get yourself close to a shatter, something along those lines. And we'll see where Birdring wants to set up and if Boston can deny it. The last thing you want is to let a soldier set up on top of the stairs right across from the cafe, especially with tank support up there.
He does have Kalios. It looks like Mistakes for now is going to be chilling over in the cafe, working on that book, working on that screen.
You're working on that novel?
Working on that novel.
Got a bunch of pages stacked up. Got some protagonists with issues.
Yeah, well, they're about to have some here. Boston, man, they're not holding back. London Spitfire just charging right first, head first rather, into the defense. But that might have cost him. Gesture gets a little bit too far ahead, and Kalios is able to find the kill on him. Now they've traded places. London Spitfire are the ones who are working on their novels.
Well, this is going to be a little bit difficult, too, because how does Gesture even get back into this fight? That's how you switch off of the Reinhardt into Winston. Given the positioning of his team, he can't just walk in there as a Rein. You'll get blown up immediately. So he's going to wait for his team to engage, and he will jump and rejoin them. Or try to. Getting bullied out of the door, but Kalios goes down.
That's a big one there. Prophet not quite connecting with those hooks. Shaking his head a little bit.
They got Calyx. Calyx now out of this fight. That is so much healing, and now they're solo healing with a Zen, and maybe a soldier can drop down a heal pad, but that is not enough healing to sustain against this onslaught for London. They have to know the time is now.
They are just taking the point now. This is where they set up shop. Lighthouse is a shine in there. We already have the Coalescence in play from Notion, and Birdring with attack visor, just doing so much damage to Kalios. Whittles him down to nothing, into oblivion. Mistakes an attack visor of his own, but he's getting overwhelmed. Not a whole lot of targets here for him to pick off, as Nuts does find Note. Mistakes eventually takes down Nuts. Back and forth, but this is where it is just going to spin out of control here. London Spitfire, they find the key kills that allow them to close it out and win the series. 3-0 versus Boston.
They got their own 76 onto the high ground, then they had to send Winston after him. He got tack visored out of the sky, and desperation time on there. Slow and steady push onto Hollywood 1. That's why those first halves matter. You get that extra minute, then you can completely change your style. If you're under a minute there, you might not even run tanks. You saw everyone switch off, rotate around back, and then they get Gesture onto the Winston to rejoin the fray, get themselves a couple kills, and Calyx never able to get to Valkyrie. Died about 82% on his second death.
That is a real feel-bad moment if you're on the Mercy. You really need that Valk for that final hold, but instead, It is going to be London Spitfire walking away with the W today. There is still one map left, and we'll see it after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everybody, from the break. We're going to get into the last map of this series. There will be no fifth map. They did it. London Spitfire managed to win 3-0 versus Boston Uprising.
They have avenged their earlier loss. They came out kind of angry, it seemed. They didn't want to lose to Boston. Again, I think they were a little surprised the first time it happened. Definitely fielding their A team today. It's been close. Boston is definitely showing better signs of life. You know, they beat up on some teams they should have beat up on stage 2 after an inauspicious start, 0-12 in the maps. But now they know they still need maps because of their really rough start. If they want any chance of like surpassing these teams for stage 2 playoffs, map differential is going to be a big deal. So Gibraltar is a map that they have to take seriously here. To that note, they are bringing in Dreamcasper to sub in for Mistakes. I would have to imagine this is because Dreamcasper's Widow might be a little bit better than Mistakes, or at least a little more seasoned on this kind of map. So Mistakes, I thought, played well. Just still trying to gel with the team a little bit there. He's still going to be their Sombra ace when they play Route 66, I'd imagine. But Dreamcasper coming back in a map that is predominantly owned by Widowmaker on so many different points that I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yes. More Widow, more opportunities to see Widows, more opportunities to see Widows hitting headshots through scopes, preferably Mercies, but, you know, other supports too, that's fine.
Works out. I see some Ana here as well. She's definitely come back into the meta on some of these maps, and it's because you don't necessarily have to run the support lines that we were seeing in Stage 1 as well. And Gibraltar's always been a good map for her. This spot right here, right behind the corner of the entrance to Hangar 18 is where you often see Ana's, and then she can rotate on that bridge to the other side and hide away and still get the healing done for your team. You actually heal into the server room. We've seen a lot of defenses want to hold that.
Yes, yes, exactly. That seems to be the predominant strategy that we're seeing right now. Server room holds, you get that Ana back in there, and it makes it a little bit more dicey to dive because close quarters, that biotic nade can really mess you up if you're trying to get in there, but we'll see.
You know, I think of it, we haven't really seen anything that interesting from Gibraltar lately. It's been very standard. A lot of teams playing exactly the same, especially on first point.
Yeah.
First point seems to be pretty well defined, that you hold server room, you hold top right with one of your tanks to deny the Widow from poking into server room, and then whoever cracks first ends up losing or winning the point, etc. Second point gets a little bit different. It's all about spawns, and if you can get split spawns and where your initial push ends up getting you. And then third point, we saw some Reaper the other day. There's a lot of, if you can get a Widow set up on offense or defense, also good, but that's a little bit up in the air. But first point Gibraltar has been about as standard can be.
Yes, it is definitely one of the more, well, this is why.
It's well defined.
Let's put it that way. It's well defined, right? Because it is still, I'm not exactly displeased with the current meta on this map in particular.
No, not at all. Yeah.
More Widow, exciting play, and you really do get the opportunity to shine mechanically. And so that's always a good thing as far as I'm concerned. With Boston Uprising on the defense, they will be having Dreamcaster on that Widow. No counter per se from London Spitfire. Prophet could be looking to get the dive on her later on. He has been very good keeping it tight with his tanks. So, well, there we go. Wow, right? There's a monkey right there, Prophet. He doesn't even care that the tanks are standing on his left. He's like, oh, okay, they're the juicy targets all the way back.
Doesn't care. Doesn't actually hit anything there either, but now he's going to go around here. Genji can be so good at dislodging both an Ana and a Widow. He's got the ability to dash up, all right, bounce around. Still, though, just kind of drawing attention. They're just going to take all the free push through the car wash, and now it's where does the defense set up? It doesn't seem like they're in server room, holding high platform. Now, Mercy out in the open.
Oh, boy. That's exactly who he wants to fight. Nade is going to cancel him, but Fury is there to capitalize on the damage dealt. And Prophet, glad that we're following his perspective right now because that really told the story. Leading the way in, just finds that high-value target. Everybody collapses along with him, and, well, now it gets real tough here for Boston Uprising to get the hold going on this first point.
One of the things that makes Genji so good with dive, not just his mobility and dash resets, everything like that, his deflect is straight up OP sometimes. He goes in there and dive, and even with defense matrix being what it is now, it's not so long anymore, he goes in there in tank mode, essentially, deflecting everything in front of him that buys his tanks time to let their cooldowns reset, and still the chase on. Boston unable to find their feet, both supports down.
Oh boy.
I don't know if they're expecting that dive.
No, not exactly. That was Kelix getting caught out completely by Gesture. Not every day you're going to see a Winston actually manage to tase somebody to death start to finish. You know, Gesture, you know, a little bit of a feel-good moment for him. He'll be happy about that. Note, trying to challenge on the high ground here along with his own healer, but there we go. The big combo! So much damage. Dreamcasper obliterated immediately, and Hell Prophet can even go after tanks as well. Although, as I say that, Kalio's able to go primal at the last possible instant.
Yeah, Prophet still did so much damage there. He got the first kill and had his reset on cooldown, but understanding the range of that Dragon Blade perfectly. Dragon Blade has an amazing range, so he's just slashing at the tank there. When he gets out of range, then he uses his dash to rejoin the team. It was an escape dash rather than initiating dash, and that's why he's still in this fight. Gets second point with no contest.
How does a Tracer stop a monkey from getting through the door? She weighs like 80 pounds wet versus a 400-pound monkey. Sometimes, you know, things they just don't add up. Dreamcasper, though, he'll go ahead and answer the question for us.
The lore is that they're friends, so they probably just had a reasonable conversation.
About this. I said, Winston, I really don't think that is a good time. Maybe you come back later.
Please don't. Just please. Okay. Maybe a peanut butter bribe. Well, we do have wall hacks now out for Birdring, able to see through. Well, actually, that was Dreamcasper. I think Birdring had just used his, so Dreamcasper can have the Widow v Widow advantage as we step into this phase of the game. Very often you will see Widows on both sides here at last. What London wants to do is take high ground away, but so far Prophet just been harassing Kelix so hard, makes him pop out.
Yeah, that's big because now, well, Kelix definitely, you can tell, a little bit scared, doesn't want to get picked again. Self-destruct out, not really going to find a target there. Prophet is again going to have that blade, and Doshin is right on the edge picking up Nano as well. We could have the same combo getting thrown into it. Fury finds Kalios with the self-destruct though, and Gesture going to be able to get right back onto this point to continue to push it forward, but we have the Wombo combo, and there it is! Oh, Kelix! It's a horror show yet again.
Nothing to say there. Nano boosted Genji into the backline. Blade out. Cleans up absolutely everything. A huge investment from London during this. Nuss has switched off of Lucio onto the Moira of all things. Maybe want to toss some orbs out here. Maybe just get back to the fight, but that's not faster than Lucio. This is the checkmate position. Who is going to deal with this? Dreamcasper on a desperation bastion.
That's interesting. I like that. A little bit of variety here. Hold that angle and just pump bullets into him. He is still at risk, however. Now you have exactly the hacks coming out. He can see through walls, Birdring. The entire team can as well.
Dreamcasper switched onto a Widow of his own. He's going to try to challenge Birdring back there. Sorry, Casper switched onto the Widow to challenge Birdring back here. Birdring going to take the secondary level, a little better angle with people coming outside of spawn. Going to get jumped on, but stays alive. Here comes the Coalescence.
Coalescence is there. That'll be traded in. We have Naiko using his Transcendence. Birdring right back into the waiting arms of his Ana. They're working together now. They made up their friends. And well, Nuss having to back off as well, but look at how much damage you can just pump out with the heals. Not going to be able to hit that shot. That would have been disgusting, Birdring, if you could get the flick onto Kellex there, but instead it is this duel non-stop. Dreamcasper just trying to hit this shot, and there it is. Wins it in the end.
You see the instant retreat from the rest of their team trying to get out of this. They know they're going to get jumped on now because they don't have Birdring to cover those sight lines. That's one of the better defenses of Gibraltar Last I have ever seen. How they dealt with that Widow. They stayed in the corner. If they needed to touch and contest, they sent a tank in, then out. So many divas could learn by watching professional play. U-turns are a good thing. Get in, get out, you're still alive.
Well, what I wonder with, in terms of where that spawn is, how effective Prophet and Doshin were with that combo and how they killed everybody. It's like they're all respawning at once.
Yeah.
There's no like stagger where they're running in and maybe they're making the mistake of going too early and not enough people are there on the bodies. Like Boston Arbor said, they had everybody respawning, they all go in together and they keep it cool and together. I like it.
Dreamcasper gonna have to play very safe. The opposing Widow can see where he is at all times, so he's playing, that's so cool, playing behind that pillar, but for a moment he peeks and punished.
No time wasted, and well, the sleep is there. Nope. Dashing back out. Prophet yet again has the combo. Has to wait for the nano if that is going to come into play. Could just decide to get the job done the old-fashioned way at the same time.
They're only get back into mech. There was no tanks on the field right now for Boston. They do have ultimates coming online. A little bit more stall will allow them to get there. That is a huge kill onto Prophet, who had his blade ready. Kellex, though, down again. They're looking to close this out. Kellex is going to have to pop Valk to get out of spawn out here, I think.
These trances, though, so effective. Prophet rezzed up, and now there's the blade. Doesn't matter if he doesn't have nano. He's still going to hack you. Will have get the... Well, if he turns away, Neko's going to get him in the back with the orbs. So Boston continue to withstand the assault. They've rebuffed the attack yet again here. London Spitfire now down to a minute and a half to make this third push work.
And those kills were huge because it allowed Kellex to hold his Valkyrie, did not have to desperately use it back in there, and that's enormous because Nuss has a Valkyrie of his own. Dueling Valks possibly coming into this next fight. London getting down to just over a minute now, possibly 2 pushes here. So far, they've been rebuffed, but again, a nice opening. This has been an epic Widow battle.
Back and forth, each one hitting shots, creating opportunities here. Well, finally, that bubble's gone. Striker with a body shot, and a follow-up there from Birdring, but Dreamcasper in the meantime takes down Doshin. A lot of support lost.
The question is he in a resible position? Because Nuss has popped the Valkyrie. Doshin back in this fight right now. The first resurrection had already come out from Kellex early on. Kellex will die. London making this push work.
Slowly but surely. There, oh, that was a big one. The headshot on Striker, no chance at all. Still, no, gone as well. And now they're just going to try and rush him with the Lucio, but he can still see through walls. Birdring not going to let him even get out of spawn. Round 1 complete. All 3 points picked up here for London. It definitely took a bit longer. While they were quite a long time there on that final point battle.
It was a fantastic defense from Boston. It really was. And usually, I'm extra impressed because Boston's defense usually is good when they're playing an aggressive style, but they played it completely opposite. They played it passive. This is where the card is. They had an answer to Birdring. You can't let that go untouched. The only great answer, without sending a tank over there, and even then, not going to work. You can dislodge them. The only great answer is to shoot her. And that's exactly what Dreamcasper was able to do. They traded pretty evenly there on the Widow battle, and then some nice resurrections came into place. I think that last res onto Bidoshin really helped them out, though. He was able to bring him back up, and then you've got the Ana. Anti-heal is still, in my opinion, so overlooked. It's a great, it might be the best basic ability in the game.
Yeah, I mean, when you have the dive kind of sort of situation where the tanks are coming through, you got the Roadhogs. It's a great way to counter all these big high HP targets that are just pumping, getting heals pumped into them. It's like, no, actually you won't get to heal. So now what are you gonna do? All right, now you gotta jump back, Callius.
Yeah.
Okay, now you gotta give ground.
And it's great if you're in a mess of a fight, which is where you don't want to be as Nana, but just drop it at your feet, you heal everybody, you hurt everybody, then there's anti-heals. It's like this great AoE. It's one of the best abilities, in my opinion. It's just that Hannah has been, difficult to play in some of these metas. It's great to see her in there. One of the highest skill support heroes there is. And that's interesting.
That's cool. Actually works.
You learn something new every day here in the Overwatch League, and now I've learned that turrets have their feet made of chalk. How is it adhering to that?
Oh, how did he get the chalkboard flat enough to begin with to build the turret on it? All these questions, all these questions.
Yeah, the Earth being flat helps. Well, offensively, Boston has to finish the map. If they get stopped, they will be shut out of this Series 4-0, which, they've been shut out a couple times in Stage 2. They've shut teams out. I think they would like to just have a reasonable-looking score of 3-1 would help them out. They need to catch up on maps.
They do. They had that feel-good moment versus Shanghai yesterday, but right now...
That's brutal.
That is definitely brutal. Getting stomped, pancaked as well. Prophet once again looking for the kill on Nako. We got the stats there for a second where Prophet pretty much just dominated Nako on that first.
Absolutely crushed there. That is a team wipe eventually from London, and you don't expect that with this hold here. This first hold, you're happy if you get a couple kills, get some scouting information, get some ult charge, but you're generally going to rotate. But if you see a team can't bully you out of this area, why not go for it again? And that's exactly what they're doing.
Nobody, and Calyx once again finds himself down to half HP. He will be able to dart back to safety this time around. No, never mind. Birdring hunts him on the Tracer, no less. And there we go. Attempt at getting the high ground here, Boston Uprising, but again, they're getting shut down. And now, well, they will be able to make it down to the bottom of the car wash.
Yeah, they've probably gotten enough progress that this defense has to fall back. Despite getting the early kills there, it's not a completely one fight. Fury's just going to make sure that they don't get a ton of free push while they wait for everyone to get in the position that they need. This is the position up here. You deny the snipers, you deny Dreamcatcher from taking that beautiful angle that he wants up there. And I want to see if Ocean puts this target on. Nano is out.
Yeah, I want to see Striker hit this pulse as well. That would be pretty. There's a bit of an opportunity there, but he decides to back off and play it safe. Birdring will find Dreamcatcher somehow.
That's a great note, though. We had a stat up earlier that said that Striker's been holding his pulse bomb 50 seconds longer than Prophet or the other Tracer on the other side who happens to be playing it. It's been crazy because yesterday we saw him just tossing those out. He's holding it now longer than it's taking him to get them.
Everybody gets a pulse bomb. That's Striker. He's a real giver, a real generous guy. Prophet, though, not so much. Takes Dreamcatcher's life. And that's a lot of DPS lost here for Boston Uprising. Still making a little bit of progress on the point, but here we go! One kill, gonna be robbed. Birdring, he needs the dash. Prophet does get it back eventually, but for him, that blade, not the moment of glory he was looking for.
It's been so strange how Boston is pushing in these squad-based atmospheres right now. London's cutting them in half, and they transcended with 2 people on the cart, but made it work. Still with the advantage right now. Ocean has been pumping so much healing, and he's almost got another one of these nano boosts. They dropped 2 very early here. Does he have a target for the boost?
Now Jester's back into it, though. He's going to be able to back up this back line. Bubble not going to last. They have to rush out. Nux manages to survive, just gets on the payload. Barely closing that angle out in time, and they're doing a great job right now of staying alive. Jester's still hanging in there. He's been at half HP forever now, it feels. And yet now he will finally get topped up. And London Spitfire managed to withstand the Boston Uprising push.
Gesture did a great job there of separating the supports from the rest of Boston's team. They've been split up a lot of times, but he really capitalized on it there. You saw only the Zenyatta and Mercy in the tunnel and just kind of sat there for a second. Just looked at them, just stared them down with that silverback stare, able to keep them out of the fight while the rest of his team tried to clean up. Still 2 meters, and if I know London, it means they're going in.
Oh yeah. There's definitely 35 seconds left on this clock, so they have to make a go of it right now. Birdring on the hunt once again, looking to find Dreamcatcher. Goes for the stick, doesn't find a target, just whiffs it, unfortunately for him. But do they know where he's coming from? You got Jester, he's been boosted, he's just cleaving. The bubble goes though, so he will get caught eventually by Note. And now Prophet, he's found his target, misses the second slash. Big opportunity now for Boston Uprising to push this point forward.
Small missteps from London this time around will allow Boston to get the first point. Let's see if they can find some split spawns. They do. It is the Winston alone. He's able to get out just a second. They will not chase that one down. However, regardless of them taking first point, that took forever. Only 2:20 to get through the hangar phase here. Dreamcasper nearing his infra site. There it is. All the information he could ever want. And knowledge is power. Bullet to the brain for Profit.
That's a big one. Surprise Prophet just walks boldly around the corner that way. So open. Dreamcasper not going to miss a shot like that. Now he's hungry for more. He has to go for the big plays. Does manage to back out here, allowing for his teammates to heal him back up again. Unfortunately for Gesture, he just doesn't have that burst to capitalize and drop Dreamcasper, but turns out that Birdring does. Misses the opportunity narrowly, and in the meantime, Notion somehow finds the kill on Striker.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for a Tracer to try to 1v1 in Ana. You have to wait for all the cooldowns to be off until you feel very safe about it. She can still end up probably about 3-shotting you if she can hit shots. We know Notion mechanically talented enough that Kenji does not get out. Nice follow-up from Striker.
Capitalizing there. Dreamcasper having an idea. Mine going off, that definitely sent alarms. Bells ringing. Birdring's bells definitely ringing after that shot. Dreamcasper finds him eventually, and now they continue to make progress here. Boston Uprising, this is where it gets a bit tricky for London Spitfire. You have to work your way through these doors, these choke points. And while we could see Boston Uprising exactly trying to hold them close, and there we go. That's not even the zoning one. Doesn't matter that he dies. He still took 2 with them. Striker with a big play.
That's just when you type worth in chat, you move on. Absolutely worth it right there. He does go down with the ship himself, but they're cleaning this up. Just a baby diva on the point. Well, that's something. They really have to get this point, so I guess the Primal Rage isn't useful enough there. Kalios hasn't died. 15-player kill streak. That always hurts to see on your death cam there. Now Boston, a little over 2 minutes to finish the map and keep their chances alive to at least secure a map victory against London.
Again, challenging the high ground. No real surprise there between Gesture and Fury. They don't want to let Dreamcasper get into this angle for free, and yeah, sure enough, this is the perfect spot for Dreamcasper. He will have to give ground eventually. Gesture does want to challenge him there, at least while the cart is still out in the open like this, but now Dreamcasper straight back up again. Once again, looking for the angle. Do we have an answer on the other team? We do. Birdring has swapped over to the Widow.
A lot of free progress given here. Boston with 2 support ultimates as well that can pop whenever they like. Dreamcasper playing this a little more passively, not on that high deck there.
Okay, but he spotted which side Birdring is on at least, so he knows he knows that angle. It's a matter of whether Birdringer is going to find the opportunity to get the drop on him, because right now Dreamcasper is just a shooting field day for him. He's having a great time. Gesture has to stay in that bubble. There's the trance coming through.
Had to be used. They have to keep Gesture alive. He's been one of the best parts of this team, the cornerstone of their playstyle. Birdring does have his sights ready to go. He's going to pop them right now. There are a couple of nice kills for London. I think they finally stabilized. They will push them back, especially with Kellex falling. There's no healing for Boston. They have to regroup.
And that's a big kill there from Birdring. Kalios will find Profit, but he is just getting cut off. Primal going to be used. Is that to just try and completely shut out Fury? Fury's just going to be able to boost right back over, however, and he's going to get topped up by his healers.
Another interesting Primal there from Kalios. It's the rhyme and reason is not abundantly clear to me just yet, but I guess they don't want to get camped there. Also, it creates space. There's an artificial choke at the bottom of this hill there that if the defense wants to get aggressive, they can hold you down there. And by the time you crack that, they'll respawn back where the cart is right now. You don't want to get stuck in that artificial choke down there.
Profit deciding to get some ground. Birdring will find one, but Dreamcasper immediately trades it back. 1-for-1 trade. The sniper is going to work. Kellex gets the res up on Nako, but then gets hunted down by Gesture. And Gesture, he's going for more. There is no way, Dreamcasper. Your grappling hook doesn't come off cooldown fast enough. How?
Gets a pack for good measure.
How?
Someone's got to touch. Oh, another huge kill from Birdring means that the best person to touch and delay the cart is now dead. Transcend on the cart, though.
No Saviobi moment possible here now. Striker, he's got to res up. He's got to get in here quick. They need to just take the fight straight onto the point. Note goes diving in along with Kalios. Kalios gets caught. And now it's on Note here, trying to hang in there, trying to stay alive as long as possible. But the fight is being taken to Boston. Striker not going to be able to get there fast enough, surely. And it will be London Spitfire holding the line and winning the series 4-0.
In a reversal of history, London beats Boston this time around. The Boston Uprising back to the drawing board. At least they're consistent. They 4-0, they get 4-0. They need to find a way to beat teams that are just a little better than them. They're middle of the pack right now. They beat the teams at the bottom of the league, but they're trying to find a way to beat the teams that are just a bit better. Look, they were close in a lot of these instances. That 4-0 not indicative of the actual gameplay we saw. A lot of good things going. But London is just that team that's super strong. You can rely on anyone on this team, and I continue to be astoundedly impressed by how Gesture plays.
Yeah, Gesture is really the linchpin. Profit, Bird Ring, obviously all eyes on DPS most of the time because they come up with the flashy plays. Those Winston players, though, those main tanks, not quite always getting the love because it's harder to tell when they're creating space, when it's actually working for them.
It's a lot easier to kill the opponent's team when Gesture is all over their supports. The supports are busy keeping each other alive sometimes. Gesture cuts them off from the other team so often that they can't do anything. He lets his team have 5v4s so often where he's occupying both of the supports, and then the rest of his team can clean up.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
From the London Spitfire. They just had an amazing performance on this stage, 4-0 over the Boston Uprising. So let's talk a little bit about this match, because last time you guys faced off in week 3 in stage 1, the Uprising actually had the upper hand. They pulled the upset and won against the London Spitfire. Was this a little bit of a grudge match for you guys?
비도시 선수 일단 오늘 경기 승리를 굉장히 축하드립니다. 보스턴 상대로 4대0의 승리를 가져가게 되셨는데 첫 번째 보스턴과의 경기를 되돌아보자면 보스턴이 3대2로 좀 업셋 쪽으로 승리를 가져가지 않았습니까? 오늘 경기에 들어오면서 이 경기는 꼭 이겨야겠다 이런 느낌이 좀 혹시 있으시나요?
일단 보스턴전을 스테이지 1에서 졌었는데 스테이지 2에서는 일단 무조건 이길 거라는 생각을 들었고 그래서 준비를 많이 해서 4대0으로 이긴 것 같습니다.
It is true that we definitely did lose to Boston in the first match that we went against them. So coming into today's match, we really tried our best to prepare against Boston and not anything slide by. And I think our effort has shown on stage, and that's why we were able to take the 4-0 victory.
It absolutely did show on this stage. Now looking ahead tomorrow, you will be facing off against the Gladiators, and with the Gladiators against your former teammate Fisher. Are you at all worried? Are you ready for him?
이제 내일 피셔 선수가 있는 글래디에이터 상대로 경기를 뛰게 되는데 좀 걱정되는 부분이 있거나 아니면 혹시 자신감이 넘치거나 그러신가요?
일단 저희 팀에 있었던 피셔가 나가서 잘 하고 있지만 글래디에서 저랑 저희 팀이랑 붙었을 때도 변함없이 저희가 이길 것이기 때문에 큰 부담은 없습니다.
It is true that Fissure has been performing really well on Gladiators, but I don't think anything changes. We're a great team, and we're probably going to take the win tomorrow.
All right, there we got it. The confidence, I love it. Thank you so much, Bidoshin. Once more, congratulations to the London Spitfire. We're now going to head over to Golden Boy and the Brits to break down the action of what we just saw on this stage.
Thank you so much, Zoe. That actually is a name for a fantastic sitcom.
She said that with Venom as well.
Yeah, the Brits. The Brits. Well, speaking of, we have Brennan's sideshow here. All right. Well, I mean, a lot of confidence from Bidoshin, as he should be, because, I mean, not only have London Spitfire played phenomenally throughout the course of Season 1, but Stage 2 has looked no different for this team after their Stage 1 playoff victory. They've, despite losing pieces, haven't dropped a beat.
Yes, because we've then got NYXL against Philadelphia later on, which was another upset that happened yesterday. I think today is the day of Goliath's revenge. First of all, the first time around in Stage 1, David, you know, he had his sling, he took down the big guys. But if you played that out a couple of times, I think the Giants
probability,
ended up winning it out.
you know,
exactly. So today, London came out and they just showed that they were the better team overall. I think if they have the time to plan against a lot of other teams, they're going to be able to come out on top most of the time. And they played their A team, they played their A game, and they destroyed Boston today, really.
Yeah, certainly a well-deserved victory from the London Spitfire, and 4-0. I mean, you can't be mad about that if you are a London fan. So let's just go ahead and talk about the game here. Hollywood, one player we got to see take the stage. Mistakes. Super happy to see this on the side of the Boston Uprising, and he put on a little bit of a highlight reel on the 76 and on the Genji.
Yeah, he did across the board, to be honest. It was not the role, actually, that I was assuming that he'd be playing, to be honest, because the only time they've really brought out mistakes is when they want to run this unique sort of specialist Sombra strategy. So it took me off guard. I imagine it probably took London off guard a little bit as well. But he had some reasonable performances on the Genji all across the board. I mean, he had some big plays, as you can see here. I mean, this was the 4K that he managed to pick up a little bit earlier in the game. And overall, I wasn't too disappointed with his performance. I mean, we both know the dude from 1-2-3, the team that he used to play in the European side of Overwatch, and he was a fantastic player way back then, but on the hit scan mainly.
He pretty much only played Tracer, actually, was the point where he got picked up, but because he has such a great attitude towards the game, very hardworking, very disciplined, I always thought that Boston would be kind of keeping him back, getting him to learn other heroes, and the fact that he's coming out on Sombra and looking towards the next patch, that's really powerful. And he's also got this Genji, which we've never seen from him before, and looked really good. And the Soldier 76 is kind of, the skills are more transferable. He looks like a really good replacement for Dreamcasper whenever they want to run a more niche strategy. And we didn't see the Sombra this time, but I think that was just because so much Mercy was in play.
Yeah, I think it's very clear, though, moving forward, I wouldn't be shocked if we see more mistakes.
Yeah.
You had mentioned before, the next patch around the corner, and furthermore, just his overall talent as a player. Now, London, though, did ultimately take that game, and as they, just kind of rolled through this one, this is just this man right here. I mean, Gesture just leading the charge, with his Tesla cannon, just zapping and zipping away, and just so impressive. Profit dropping those fat pulse bombs.
Across the board, like the entirety of this London squad, we said as well during the halftime, like this is a squad where there are no weaknesses realistically. Every single player on this team performs at such a high level, and that was especially evident in this match here. I mean, it was really just a dismantling of them. Still a close game though, you know. Boston still managed to bring it to the double overtime in the end, but still London again managing to edge it out because they suffer from really no issues whatsoever in terms of their composition. There's no one player that you can focus and exploit massively and sort of break open.
I think when it came down to that time bank round and both teams had a couple of minutes in the bank, that's when London really started to separate, because they once they've already had one run through a map, they can now start to adapt, and with their defense, they ran the Junkrat a bit more. Yes, Birdring overextended and died on his defense, but they were able to come back in and just completely wipe them out, despite the fact that Kellex had the Valkyrie. So it's these re-engages and the adaptations that really separate the wheat from the chaff in the end.
Yeah, this team is just so impressive, man. The London Spitfire, again, Stage 1 champions, right? I mean, these guys have earned it, they have grinded it, and now here they are sitting, you know, darn near at the top of the mountain at this point in time. But then moving forward to Gibraltar, again, the game was over at this point as far as the who was the winner of the series. London had already claimed that one. Boston, though, looking at the very least not to get swept, not to get hit with that broomstick. But London Spitfire, they called the janitor. They had to clean aisle 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to put it. Across the board, again, it was close because London, they really had some difficulty taking this last point, as you can see. Eventually managed to just crack through the defense of Boston, mainly off the back of Birdring's Widowmaker here. The guy was just not really missing a single shot this game. And this was a match, again, you sort of saw a lot of good things out of Boston. Once again, you saw Dreamcasper having the mechanical skill, Striker making these ridiculous post-bomb plays.
Yeah. But Neko played very well as well.
Neko did play incredibly well across the board. He actually did have a fantastic game.
But there's something missing, I think, just in terms of the coordination here from Boston compared to what we saw in Stage 1. They were really an execution-based team. They didn't need the big plays because they had, like, the game plan coming into it was so crystal clear. Every point they knew what the enemy team would be running and how to take it out. That's something I think is still missing from Boston Uprising in Stage 2. Maybe Gamsu will bring it back with him from Korea.
Yeah, potentially. That's a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, this Boston Uprising team need to figure something out here. But, I mean, this squad, they were going toe-to-toe with them. You know, 4-0, sure, I may have made the joke about the broomsticks and whatnot, but still, it was an incredibly close match. I mean, when we look at it, it was 3-2 Hanamura, 2-1 on Nepal, 4-3 Hollywood. You know, same thing for Gibraltar. We could have ended up going to extra rounds there as well. Boston Uprising, they have talent. They just need to tighten it up a bit more, and I know that that is exactly what the president of gaming will look to accomplish moving forward, Mr. President. Now the Zenyatas have actually been kind of the stars in this game, right? We talked about Neko. We touched on that briefly, but Badoshin actually has been on point. And I know, Sideshow, you wanted to kind of talk about his performance in comparison to the league average.
Yes, because he's a guy that goes under the radar a little bit, I think, in the London Spitfire, because the rest of their team is so great. But on the right-hand side, you can see the league average for all of our Zenyatta players. And Badoshin is right up at the top there alongside Jonak from the NYXL. The amount of damage he's able to output is ridiculous. The amount of final blows he gets per 10 minutes, that's the amount of kills that he's actually securing for his team. Again, way above the league average. And then his offensive assists, and to be honest, his defensive assists as well, are off the charts. Now, offensive means that he had a Discord on the target at the time they were killed. So it's great focus fire from Badoshin and the rest of his team. But he's such a deadly Zenyatta that it's really a powerhouse in the back of their team that sometimes gets overlooked because a lot of other people are finishing off kills and the team's so well-rounded.
Not as good as Doa's Zen, though, is it? Really, at the end of the day.
Doa's Zen, best in the league.
Don't.
I'm bringing him into it, mate. He loves to toot the horn. You know, he's a good Zen player. Me and Doa, we played a few games the other day. We lost all of them.
But you know what, though? He's not our Omen by HP player of the match. That's right. Oh, look at that one. Oh. It is going to be Gesture, as a matter of fact. The Winston plays from this young man. Very impressive stuff. Cleared the way for his teammates to be able to execute, but also when he wanted to get down and dirty and slay, he was making it happen.
Oh yeah, he was. He didn't want anyone in his pub, did he? He was just basically taking control of the entire map, the entire game.
His pub, it's his own.
It was all his game, and again, this is London's sort of base. they don't really base their playstyle off of any one person because they're all so excellent at what they do. But Gesture just takes it to another level with his individuality. We talked about it again in the halftime. We talked about Gesture, the way he sort of plays differently whenever he has a Primal Rage. He knows he can get away with a lot more mischief and madness on the map, so he goes for those ballsy plays and often comes out on top.
Yeah, those Primal Rage kills as well. We were mentioning it earlier on in the game. When the Primal Rage is active for a lot of these top Winstons, you'll see them making those individual plays and trying to either force out big support ultimates or go for the support kills.
Yeah.
Gesture knows exactly how to play it.
Yeah, very impressive stuff, and that's why Gesture is our Omen by HP player of the match. Huge congratulations to him, as well as the London Spitfire for a dominating victory over the Boston Uprising. But we have a matchup that I'm very excited for coming up next. It's the East Coast Throwdown, baby. It's NYXL going up against the Philadelphia Fusion, and it's going to be on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.